We're live now.
We are.
It said it anyway. It said you're live, and
I hope it's working.
I said thanks.
So hopefully this week you can see the chat whenever we get them.
If we already got oh yeah, that's right. I did have a problem last week, didn't I?
Yeah, remember it like all
I forgot about that. Yeah, it was like I had like no one's chatting, and then suddenly boom, tons of chats.
Oh, but Patreon members, this is our Patreon intro, of course. If you're a first-time Patreon member watching the intro, this part is not on the audio version of the podcast.
No, this is exclusive
segment. Oh yeah, exclusive.
This is just for you, for the people who are supporting us on the Patreon.
This is where we get a little unhinged. We talk about some really crazy shit while we're warming up sometimes.
Oh yeah,
and
we get nuts.
It gets kind of wild. I finally watched Last of Us. Well, not all.
What'd you think?
You
haven't watched it all? It's only 9 episodes, so it goes by real fast. We got Kirby and Brian in chat. What's up, guys?
Kirby, shout out Kirby. He came in clutch this week. I'll save that for fine editions.
Save it.
But Kirby came in very clutch for me, so I appreciate it. Brian, Good to see you. But yeah, so we're 6 episodes in. To be fair, like we haven't watched all yet because we started literally like Sunday night. So we've been getting through it pretty quick. But then we had to take a break for Wednesday for Mandalorian. So we'll probably start that up tomorrow. Yeah, it's like a top tier show so far.
It's so good.
It's probably the best show I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah,
it's up there. Like it's quality. HBO's are so good. Like House of the Dragon was fantastic. Last of Us is fantastic so far. It's
what I like about it
category
is it defies the genre because like my wife's not she didn't really care about Walking Dead. Like I'm not even really into zombie stuff. Like I just don't care. But like it's just so good. The story's really well told. Pedro Pascal is great. You know. I can't remember the younger actor's name, but I remember Lyanna Mormont. I can't remember her actual name.
Her name is Leon. No, that's her.
No, that's her. See, I keep saying that too. I keep saying that too. But she's great in it, and I know she had a lot of hate because she didn't look right or what. Screw all those people. Don't care. She looks great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be one of those people that talks about how a little girl looks. Like that's just
right. Right.
That's like some creepy.
It's borderline creepy and like weirdly judgy, and just get over it, guys. But
she's probably the best kid actor they could have picked. Like
she was great.
She's nailing the part.
You wouldn't even know that she naturally has an English accent.
I didn't know that. See?
Yeah. Oh, you should watch the after stuff. It's fascinating to know like the behind the scenes stuff because it's done by the guy that wrote the original game. And the producer who's put in there, and like the thoughts behind if they changed something, why, or what they decided to stick like specifically with the game, and it was great. It was all great. So
yeah, that I probably will do that because I've been looking for something,
and they're not long either. They're like 5 minutes long.
Game of Thrones used to do that after each episode. They'd have like a little 5-minute thing. But
yes, so it's like, oh, she just forgot about the fleet. Yeah, right. Bella Ramsey. Thank you. Yeah. And the problem is that sounds like a Game of Thrones name as well.
Yeah.
Like Ramsey. Because Ramsey, yeah. Like if you told me, Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones, I'd think that you're talking about the Game of Thrones character, not her actual name.
Yeah. But what was that? What were we talking about a second ago? I forgot. Oh yeah, the after blurbs. I've been looking for something to like a podcast or a YouTube thing to explain per episode, like because I never played the games, but I do want to know what they kept in the games and what they changed for some reason. I'm just interested in how the stories evolved. So just like for Game of Thrones, I was interested in what they changed from the books and the show, like what the differences are. So yeah, I probably will check that out. I didn't even realize they had it for that.
Yeah. Well, even then, like I've personally never played The Last of Us before. When it came out on the PS3 way back in the day, my roommate was obsessed with it, so I watched him play the game. So like I've experienced it through him, and I've just never felt even when I got my PS4 back when the pandemic hit and you know, things were shutting down, I'm like, I'm going to buy a PS4 and I'm going to have a gaming console to, you know, get through the next month or two. Cause that's how long the pandemic was going to take. Right. But it was like a thing. It was like a pack that came with the first God of War for PS4. It came with Last of Us, and it came with like Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. And I didn't even care about The Last of Us. I think I gave it to a friend or something. I'm like I want God of War, I want Horizon. Do not care about Last of Us. I just didn't care. And now it's like my birthday's in 2 weeks, and it's on the PS5 version is on my birthday list, so I can play it.
Yeah, I might. I was thinking about trying to play the game because my cousin played it a long time ago, and when I was at his house on weekends, I would watch him play. Yeah. So I knew of the game. I knew it was a very popular game, but one of the best-selling games. But I never actually played it and got into the whole story or anything. But the show is fantastic. The
show's great. And you know what I've watched twice? There's this video game reviewer named Tim Rogers who he has a channel called Action Button. He's known for doing very, very long reviews, like ridiculously long.
Is this the guy you were talking about that did like a 6 hour?
Yes, it's the same guy. He reviewed The Last of Us, and it's like a 4 or 5 hour video. I watched it twice. Well, it's like I'm sitting there watching it and doing nothing else. It's like on while I'm doing something. Yeah. But you know, sometimes if I just need something on the background,
there for 10 hours.
just watching this guy talk about Last of Us for 10 hours,
and like you're 8.5 hours in, like you already hear this part.
I did. Yeah. Anyways,
because you've been on like a long form video kick lately.
Right. I love long form videos. The problem is, I need an ad blocker for my computer because I refuse to pay. I refuse to pay for YouTube Pro or Red or whatever they're calling it now. And sometimes you just get those videos where whoever uploads the videos puts like 20 commercials. Like they pack it as much as they can. And I'm just like, ugh, this is getting annoying. Because sometimes the commercials are short, like 5 seconds. But sometimes the commercials, sometimes the commercial's like a 10-minute like video just as a commercial. You're like, this is ridiculous. I don't.
Yeah, I've noticed that with like really big corporations. Like I'll watch NBA highlights. And literally within like the first quarter of the highlights, there's been 2 ad breaks, and I'm just like, this is frustrating.
It's too much. So
I've just gone to find other like people who do their own, and they just have an ad in the middle and then it's done. Right. Instead of like NFL does it too. Their YouTube page is crazy with ads, and it's frustrating ridiculous trying to catch up on things whenever.
Yeah, and that's why we don't do ads in our videos. We just do Patreon. I know. That was interesting. So someone sent you a message saying that they got an ad in the audio version. So I had to go through and I'm like looking at all the settings, and I'm looking through the ad settings, and everything's turned off for ads. So I turned it on and then I turned it off and made sure everything was off and saved it. Cause like, I don't want ads. I don't want people to listen to ads.
Yeah, that was so weird because
it's so weird.
I was literally listening to our podcast when I got that, when I read the guy's message. So I
listened to it too, just to give it a view. I've never gotten an ad. Yeah.
And I went to I asked him for the exact time mark, and I went to it, no ad. Then I was like, well, maybe you have to listen to a certain amount of time. Yeah. And then I listened to the whole thing, no ad. And then I asked him, I was like, could you send me a screenshot of like the entire length of the episode? And it was like 10 or 15 seconds longer than what mine was. So they definitely put an ad in there for him. So I don't know if it was a glitch on his part, because he was the only one that told me.
That's so weird. Well, if any of our, and I'm going to say this again on the actual episode, but specifically for our Patreon people who pay for the pleasure of listening to us early and live and all of that stuff. If you've ever gotten an ad listening to it on like a pod, I know you won't get an ad here, but like if you're ever like listening to the audio version, you get an ad. I'm sorry, that should not have happened.
Yeah.
So,
but we do say no ads. But if somebody comes with a big enough bag, you can't.
everyone's got a price. Okay, everyone's got a price.
Everyone's got a price. But the video version, Patreon members will never have to pay, even if no matter how big the bag is.
Absolutely not. No, anyone on Patreon will not have to pay.
Yeah. So
and you know what? Even that, I'll only really do it. Like, I'm not saying we'll never do if someone comes to sponsor us. If it's something that's just not related to the podcast, like I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, because I get that from a YouTube channel all the time. Like people doing like clothing stuff, or like I don't care. My people that watch my YouTube channel don't care about this shit. Like, yeah. It's not worth it. It's extra work for me to talk about it, to add it in, to mention it. Like, nobody cares about this. If I were listening to my videos, I wouldn't care about it. So, like,
it's also for my Instagram page. I did an ad for, I can't remember the company's name, so I feel bad, because they sent me a $500 chair that looked like it had like a Darth Vader.
Oh, gaming chair? Yeah.
Yeah, like not a gaming chair, but like an office chair. I would have it down here, but it's actually in my wife's office at her work, because her chair was like hurting her back, so I took it there. And I really like this one to have down here. But so I posted a couple things on my Instagram. They sent it to me for free. But then you saw that email we got to the Black Series Cantina that wanted me to post on TikTok for some video game. Like, people who follow me for action figure content.
Yeah, nobody cares about, but yeah, I'm not a video game person.
If you're going to pay me $20 a video, I'm not going to post.
Is it a Star Wars game? Like, maybe.
If EA was like, hey, we'll give you $20 to make a post about Jedi Fallen Order. Like, fuck yeah.
Or like the Heroes, the little mobile Heroes game or whatever.
Like the cards, Heroes, the mobile card games or anything. Like, something like
Star
that. Wars.
If it's Star Wars related.
Or like a random, I don't even know, it was like a RPG or something. My people don't, like, your $20.
Speaking of which, this is brought to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh, if you want to make foods and not go to the grocery store, but still have to cook your own food, and it's only slightly cheaper than eating out, you should do HelloFresh, because that's what we do.
It's funny you brought up HelloFresh, because I was so pissed off the other night. I got off work. I got off work late, number one, because it's busy season at work.
Sure.
And Jenna got this free box of HelloFresh or whatever, and then she broke her ankle this past weekend, so I'm doing the cooking. Already got off work late, and there's more steps to start the HelloFresh than just doing my own damn
absolutely
cooking.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, why I had to peel and cut and slice carrots. Like, come on, I just want to take these frozen carrots in the freezer, put them in the microwave.
But they're fresh ingredients. They're better.
I don't care. I don't want to sit there and slice up these damn carrots.
Well, so I cut my finger right here 2 weeks ago because I was slicing green onions from my HelloFresh box. Because we do 3 meals a week from HelloFresh, because I actually like to cook, but I hate going to the grocery store. So I'm literally that person that they're advertising to.
That's true. We just do click list from Kroger, over $35 free pickup. I like to cook, but I don't like to. I had to make the sauce. I'm used to just like pouring some sauce in a can.
Oh no! So I know how to make risotto now. If I'm ever in a situation where, like, Mike, you have to make this risotto, I'm like, I know I can do that, no problem. I can make a risotto.
I don't even know what risotto means. So
it's just a fancy way of making rice that's a little mushy.
Galaxy of Heroes.
Galaxy. Thank you, Brian. Brian. And he's also a HelloFresh delivery person. So, what the hell?
I do want to give a shout out to Brian, because in recent episodes he's been very active in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what, Brian? I always feel bad for the people delivering those boxes, because those are heavy ass boxes. They've got like bricks of like ice and stuff to keep the meat cold and whatnot. Like, that's a lot of work. But kudos to you, my dude. Kudos to you.
All right. Well, I think that's enough warm-up chat.
Is that the banter? The banter is done. We got the 15 minutes.
I'm ready to talk about these reveals we got.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Before we do that, hold on. Where'd I put it? It's right here. My work they sent me.
Is that a gun?
It's a massager. My work sent me a branded massager. It's got my work's like light speed on there. Like,
sick.
I got a random box this week, and I'm like, what is this? I didn't order a toy that I know of. And it's just like, it's like, this is a gift from the company for when you're having a stressful day. So it's like a nice little, comes with like a bunch of different attachments and stuff.
Nice ball massager there.
Yeah. So
That's
I got a nice little, massage.
I'm gonna see if your company's hiring because I'm trying to get out of the accounting world.
I don't know, man. I feel like accounting's recession proof because like
it is.
You need people. You need people to count the money that you don't have.
That is true, but every company has like a finance department, so I could slide in. I'm tired of
sliding as DMs.
Accounting.
Here's what you need to do.
Public accounting.
You know who needs an accountant? Hasbro.
I would love to look at Hasbro's books. Like, I would absolutely. They might be public, but
yeah.
So I probably could find them, but and when I worked at Ernst & Young, I don't work there anymore, so I'm comfortable saying it. I work for a smaller accounting firm now.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked at EY, I think that EY is the third largest accounting firm in the world. I could literally type in basically any company I wanted, like into our bank, and we've done something for them.
Yeah.
Like in our data, and we've done at least some type of project for them in the past. So I could like sneak in and look at some numbers, but never did it for Hasbro. I would love to look at the detailed segments because Hasbro is such a big company that they would have segments for like Disney and then like all these different merchandises they do in separate financial statements. And then they have one big one that's combined financial statements that combines all those numbers. I would love to look at the Lucasfilm specific ledger and see like what's making and what's losing. See TVC with the parentheses negatives there. That'd be badass. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk.
You have to let's digress. Let's digress and let's start the episode. Shall we?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm always down to start a Black Series Cantina episode.
Oh, well then, hi there. Welcome to Black Series Cantina episode 40 the first. That's 40 plus 1. That's as many as 4 10s and 1 1. I have titled this, Are We Getting Overlooked? And I was I tickled myself thinking of that title.
That's honestly pretty good. That's the first time I've heard that. And I'm pretty impressed. That's pretty good.
Well, I took the inspiration because of the whole, like, is it worth it comments we've been making in our little chat, little joke thing we've got. So I was like, I want to do something in that vein. And then it just came to me. Are we getting overlooked?
Yeah, that's really clever. That's really
Thank
clever.
you. I sometimes just surprise myself. But yes, you are
here. Black Series Cantina title.
Should we go through? Should we go through all 41 titles and rate them again just to update we should do a ranking. Like
we got a tier list. Do a tier list for our titles because we've had some bad ones and we've had some like spectacular ones like that.
You can't nail it every time. You can't nail it every time. But I feel like this one just absolutely nailed it. But yes, welcome. While we're done patting ourselves on the back for making 41 of these. We hope that you're enjoying it so far for the couple minutes that you're into it. As always, I'm Mike, and I have my co-host here, Zach. Say hi, Zach.
Hello there.
There you go.
Glad to be here again.
Yep, and we are, of course, joined by our fantastic Patreon supporters in chat who are at the Cantina Alien member or higher.
Band member.
You're right. Band member. So that's Brian right now and Kirby and one other person who hasn't chatted yet, but is lurking in the background. I see the number. You don't want to talk. That's fine. You don't have to, but, whoever's there, hi. And if you say hi, we'll call you out and we'll call them out as they chat. If they say something interesting enough to have it in there. And again, we only talk about this because we don't want to run ads. Isn't that right, Zach? That's right. We don't want to run ads.
Unless so we're supported. Glitch, maybe.
Yeah, so we did get a complaint that someone got an ad when they were listening to the audio version. I went through. First of all, I just wanted to apologize. If you have ever listened to the audio version of this on whatever podcasting platform you prefer, and you got an ad, I just wanted to apologize to you. You shouldn't, because I have all of that stuff turned off. And then I went back through and made sure it was still turned off. And then what I did was I briefly turned it all on and then made sure to turn it all off again, just to make sure all the settings were set to off. So you should not be getting any ads other than saying, hey, we have a Patreon. If you want to support us there, you get some cool stuff. Zach, what do they get in a Patreon? What can they do?
So we do have a $2 tier. That's just a general support tier. You don't get to watch the video or join us live, but you do get to participate in any giveaways that we do. And occasionally we open up our live streams whenever we have big episodes. Like the next episode, we might do that because it'll be a big reveal episode. We'll talk about that later.
We'll see.
But you'll be included in giveaways. So the $2 tier, the $5 tier, you can watch the video of the podcast, and then of course you get an extra giveaway entry. And then the the $11.38 tier, you get to join us live, and you get 3 entries in every giveaway.
That's right. And we actually do have a tier above that no one ever joins, that you can actually be on the show if you want to with that tier. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if that's actually on there, but no one's ever done that one. So if you want to do it, like, we'll make something up. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been low key considering. So me and you go every other week. Go in the weeks in between that, me just like talking to one of our Patreon members and putting
just like a little
like a half hour,
kind of thing.
Hour thing. Yeah, just talking about some random people, and then if you're free, you can hop on. If you're not free, I can just talk to them about it. I've been considering that. Yeah,
we'll talk about this off air. We're not going to workshop this during the episode, but that's a good idea. Again, we change them all the time because we're just two dudes talking to each other from literally across the country over the internet about Star Wars toys. That's the whole, and specifically 6-inch Black Series Star Wars toys.
Yes, if this is your first time listening to Black Series Cantina, actually somebody messaged me the other day saying that they recently discovered the podcast, and the podcast has been growing pretty nicely, so which we like to see. So we definitely do have new people every week. But if this is your first time listening, we talk about Black Series 6-inch figures only, and of course we talk about Bad Batch, Mandalorian, whatever shows are coming out. But we always try to keep it from let's talk about what figures we want from these shows.
Specifically. Yeah. We don't have anything seriously against TVC, although we do have a fun little joking rivalry against it. But we are focused on 6-inch. That's what we care about.
Yeah, modern Star Wars collecting, like the struggles of it, the issues collectors face, and we cover it all.
Cover it all. So as you alluded to, next episode we'll be doing a live for Patreon members Saturday night after the panel for Black Series, because yesterday or the day before, Hasbro announced, even though we looked it up, we knew this. In fact, we talked about it.
We talked about it
the previous episode.
Now people are making it a big thing.
Now
we've already covered it.
Yeah, we've already covered it. Yeah,
this is old news.
It's old news for us. But what they did, because they released a press junket to all the influencers and stuff, neither of us got that, but I saw it on other people's accounts. You know
why? It's because Hasbro was listening to Black Series Cantina, and they're like, "Oh shit,
that's what it is.
We should probably let everybody know that it's already out there."
Yeah,
Black Series Cantina.
That's what it is.
Gave the news, so might as
that's
well
what
get
it
it
is.
out there.
That's what it is. So I mean, it was public knowledge. It was listed on the website. That's all I did was look on the website. But they're doing an Indiana Jones / Star Wars panel, and specifically, there will be 20 reveals. Now, that's going to be split up between Vintage Collection and Black Series, and probably like role play items and stuff. But they said there will be 20 Star Wars reveals at this panel.
Over
20 Star Wars reveals at this panel. So we're in for a veritable smorgasbord of Star Wars announcements and talking about. So we're going to have a party. We're gonna because we're not gonna record at a normal time. We're just gonna do a fun Saturday night, hang out with our bros, and talk about Star Wars.
Yep. I'm really excited because we're gonna have a lot of reveals to go over Saturday night live. We might do
that's Saturday the 8th.
Patreon members or everyone. Who knows?
We've opened it up for everyone before, so we'll see.
Yeah. Time to be determined. We'll post on our Facebook page.
Well, just follow us
at the end of the podcast.
Follow us on Twitter at the Black Series Cantina, or TBS Cantina, I think. Follow us. We have a Facebook group that we post in. We both have social medias you can follow that we'll talk about at the end of the episode. So if you want to know what those are, you have to listen to the entire episode
Yeah, don't fast forward.
No, you have to listen to it specifically.
And the episode starting off.
Yeah.
What do you say we get to our normal segment?
Yeah.
Fine additions. Let's.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Let me make you the biggin.
All right. So I do want to talk about this before I get into Star Wars.
Sure.
So I got this perfect cell figure from Entertainment Earth.
Okay.
Dragon.
Is that the Dragon Ball Stars? Or the Dragon Stars or whatever? Yeah.
So I really liked this line, but I think I'm out of it already.
Yeah, I heard liked. Yeah.
I went 2 full weeks, and what sucks is I opened this figure and.
Hold on, I see in the background. I'm looking at your shelf in the background. Yeah, I see at least three. Is that 3 different Vegetas there?
No, it's a power up Vegeta, a regular Vegeta, and then that's the Super Saiyan Goku in between them. And there's a Krillin that you can't see, but those are all the ones I'd find editions last week.
Got you. Yeah.
But so I was already the quality of the figures isn't great.
They're not great. Yeah.
They're a little cheap feeling, and they're cheap and they look good. They don't feel good. You know what I mean?
That's something that I feel like more reviewers should talk about. Is
like I just
the feel, when like food reviewers talk about mouth feel, because that's important.
Texture,
like when you're eating, texture, things like that. How a figure feels in hand is just as important as how it looks.
Yeah, and I don't dive too deep into many action figure lines. Like I have a good amount of Marvel figures and obviously a ton of Star Wars figures, so I really only know how modern Hasbro feels like within the last decade, because of I was collecting Black Series back then too. But getting into this line, this figure feels like super hollow, super cheap. Mm-hmm. It's loud. All the joints are like, and with those Gokus, the Vegeta specifically, I can't even like have him bend his wrist to do like a nice, like I'm shooting a power at him without the wrist popping off like the joint. And it's very frustrating trying to get these things in good poses. So, and what's unfortunate is like the day I decided I think I'm done with them, I had like 3 pre-orders shipped from Entertainment Earth. So I'm going to have to like try to offload these, but I think I'm going to keep the ones I have for now. But I think I'm going to try to dip my toes in the SH Figure Arts line of them. I
got a couple. They got, what I like about them is they're expensive because SH Figure Arts is. Yeah. But they don't come out very often. And when they do, it's always a character like, okay, I like that. But I just got the Piccolo from the Superheroes movie, and I like that. Well, Piccolo is my favorite. So
yeah. But the only thing, like visually, these look really good. Like this.
Sure.
Like this is a good figure visually, but it just doesn't feel great. And I kind of want something that.
And you want something with a little heft.
Yeah, and plus SH Figure Arts for $13 more, like the Goku from Superhero, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of them like $35, which isn't bad.
Yeah, I can get like that's 3 alternate faces, alternate hands. Yeah, for like 13 or 14 extra bucks. Yeah, usually, and then the occasional like $67 or dollars. So I think I can't mess with this wing right here without it like falling off. Like it's really frustrating. So I think I'm gonna dive into the SH Figure Arts DBZ figures. And
are you gonna keep what you have? Are you gonna keep what you have? Or are you gonna
I'll keep what I have.
Okay,
I'll probably keep what I have. I'll probably sell off. Like if I buy like a better one in SH Figure Arts and I can get $20 or 15, whatever, then I might do that. But there's, but the frustrating thing is I really want that Saiyan Saga Vegeta that you have in SH Figure Arts where he's crushing the scouter. Yeah. No. No.
I don't even display it.
How do you? Well, you don't display.
I'll sell it. No, I'll sell it to you. I don't even have a spot for it.
Well, the thing is,
we'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. The retail for that's like $120, I think. I don't.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah.
But now, secondary market on that's like close to $200. I'm like, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But moving on, Fine Editions, Kirby Brock, big shout out to Kirby Brock. Last episode, I was talking about the Hasbro sale and needing an Admiral Rampart. He hooked me up for free, didn't have to pay for it. So, Kirby, big shout out to you. I'll refund like Patreon or something. Or we'll
do it. Yeah, no, it's good.
But the coolest thing about this, I got the mouse droid finally.
The mouse droid's the best part.
I didn't have to 3D print one. And this mouse droid has like dry brushing and the wheels move.
Yep, it's a good droid.
I thought it was just like an all black piece of plastic, but it's got actual dry brushing on it, which is insane. And the wheels move. And this, whenever we were talking about the Droideka, and I said they're not going to make it unless they can make it a toy, just like the Jabba the Hutt. It's technically a toy because you can move the arms. You can move the wheels on this, so it's like a toy and not just like a little stand-in thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the mouse droid. But moving on, I picked up Fixer finally, and I'll do them as a pair. Picked up Scorch. Scorch is definitely the best one. I was going to ask you.
Scorch is easily the best one.
Well, whenever you're done, I will. But
yeah,
I finally completed the squad. So I originally had Boss and Sev. I finally know their names now. Like, I can look at them and know their names. Finally got all 4 of them. And I remember when I fine editioned Sev, I wasn't very excited about it. I liked the figure, but I was like, I'm not excited about buying this mold. But when I was at GameStop and I saw they had Scorch and Fixer, I felt like I opened them up and I put them with the squad, and I didn't feel bad about spending $60 for these two, like, in store. Like, they're pretty badass together. I'm not gonna lie. Like, individually, Scorch is definitely the best one, and the other ones are okay. But when they're together
as a squad,
it is absolutely worth it. Even if they're not as bulky as we'd like them to be, you know, even if they don't have, even if they're not like 100% accurate, as a squad. I don't even play the game. I haven't played the game. And it was like 100% worth it. Super hyped to have the squad. I was so hyped to have the squad, I 3D printed a damn hallway, which we'll get to in a second. Like,
we'll get to
these guys.
That's right. Yeah.
For these guys. So super hyped. So do you have those?
I do. I do have them.
Some more fine additions. Let's do the hallway first.
Oh, no, that's not the right one. There we go.
While you find it, I'll talk about this. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, keep it right there. Perfect. I 3D printed this hallway.
Oh, stop that.
Spoilers. This Lane Speeder Luke hallway design specifically for the Delta Squad, and it's super badass. I think I'm going to try to paint these pipes in the back like a silver or something, and then throw some like red and blue or greens on these little...
Yeah, it's a good looking hallway for sure. Yeah.
It's really cool. And I actually texted Luke because I want to do another one of these, and I like the open side. He has one where it's like fully enclosed and you can only see down it through the mouth of it. But I like the open design. I think I'm going to do another one. And I texted him. I was like, how hard would it be to design like a door? You know, like a door that would be like the end of the hallway. And he said that'd be pretty easy. So I'm crossing my fingers hoping he adds a door to it. I think that would take this to the next level. Because instead of just having a hole, you know, and then like the rest of the collection, it'd be like an end of the piece and you could display it either way without seeing like your wall or anything.
No, it looks good for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. And this, I mean, each piece took like 21 hours to print, which really isn't bad for how big it is. So
no, it's huge. I mean, it's big enough to fit comfortably without being cramped together 4 figures. So
that's 4 figures.
It looks good. Yeah.
I think I might do it for the Bad Batch also, because it's a really cool, just like a Star Wars hallway design, you know. So I might do that. So moving on, I remember last episode I said I was done printing big items. And then Luke dropped the new and improved Emperor's Throne Room. This had me so hyped because ever since I tried to attempt to print. Well, I didn't actually try to, but I put it on the computer on the slicer, and his old one was just too big to get a good sized window. And then since he made this where you can print the window in small parts, like, this is like one of the best things that he's ever done. I'm so excited. This is how I have it displayed currently. And yeah, that's my biggest 3D print. Well,
it's a gorgeous. It's a that one's modular though. This is like one singular like thing.
Yeah.
Or like it looks good.
This was actually an easier print than it looks like too. Like I could like those black beams didn't take long to print at all. The hardest part is getting everything super glued and holding together. But after a while, I mean, you just put, I didn't even have to use that stuff Luke recommended. It was that stuff that makes super glue dry faster.
Yeah.
I just essentially super glued the 4-part to the window and held them together for like 2 or 3 minutes and then left it there for like 24 hours. Came there the next day and then just very carefully, making sure my hand is under all 4 parts and then just transporting it downstairs. So yeah, that's like, this is 100%. I would pay what I've paid for the 3D printer and all the parts, like for this alone, I feel like, if Hasbro dropped this right here exactly. So very hyped. I think that's all my fine additions for this.
Cool. Well, let's remove that for now. We'll bring it back and then make me.
And if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can go on my Instagram and I've posted pictures of that Emperor's Throne.
Right. Yeah. So, fine additions. First, I'm gonna do some quick non-Star Wars stuff. I did take advantage of the Hasbro Pulse sale, mostly for Transformers. They added some Transformers in, so I think I paid a total of like $50 for like 4 different Transformers, a couple of like Bumblebee here, just some people that I didn't really care about paying full price for. This little jet guy, his name's Needle Nose, but it's like I don't want it to the point where I want to drop $25 on it, but I'll drop the $11 or whatever it costs. And that actually goes for another one that I got here. This is G.I. Joe Tiger Force Recondo, and Target had him on sale for $11.50. And I, of course, I got free shipping and a little discount because I used my red card. So it just it was weird not to do that. Kirby wants to know if these Transformers are going to be on a new Bots and Shots, and we actually do have a car episode planned for that. So that you'll probably see them on there. And then last non-Star Wars stuff is I got some Mythic Legions from the All-Star 5.0
those guys.
Wave here. I don't know their actual names, but these are both Masters of the Universe or He-Man homage figures. This one is supposed to be Stratos. This one is supposed to be
the red and blue colors.
Yeah. And this one's supposed to be Webstore. He's like a skeleton spider guy, and then so I like them, and I'm sort of collecting the homage figures, so they're gonna go really nicely on my shelf. They look good, and I actually have posted pictures of them on my Instagram as well. So if you want to go see them, if you're listening to this, that'll be on there. But I do have 2 figures, and things falling over. My desk is a mess right now because I've had all these figures sitting here all day. I got Scorch.
Nice.
Because there's no way I wasn't going to get Scorch, and you're absolutely right. They look so good together. Do I wish that they were bigger? Sure. I think any Star Wars fan that has experienced the Delta Squad or the game before wishes they are. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean they don't look good. They're not 100% accurate to the version that I preferred. I mean, but they are accurate to the Clone Wars. Their Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say they're actually pretty clean. If you look at the models of the Clone Wars and Bad Batch, they're
and I've pointed that out pretty much every time I've done a review on them. But I haven't done a review on Scorch yet. But he's easily the best one of the 4. Yeah, like easily.
I think I'm gonna give mine a dark wash. I don't know if a gray or like a black wash would be good, like better, but just because the Hunter
like
body
a burnt umbra.
Yeah, like the Hunter body has so many molded scratches throughout it, but there's just no paint to pick those up.
Right.
So putting a really thin dark wash layer would have it set.
It would bring out those details.
So I think I want to do that with the 4 of them.
Yeah. And then I did also get the battle droid to go with the Republic Commando, which is what the guys are from. So this is his eyes are really weird. They're like little no signs or whatever. Like it just kind of, I don't know. They kind of freak me out. But I'll get every battle droid repaint. I'm down.
See,
for that.
I thought I was gonna get that, but I was looking at it in store and I was like, I think I'm gonna save the money on this one for now.
That's fair. I made sure to use my $5 discount coupon thing on it. So.
And you know what sucks? Right now they're having that Pro sale, and the Scorch is like $19.
Yeah.
If I would have waited a week, I'd have been could have re-upped and gotten for cheaper.
Yeah.
I got to re-up eventually my membership. So
those are my 2 figures for the week. But I do have one more thing to open.
Oh, what could this be?
I got a nice little package from a little friend of mine. His name is Zachary.
Zachary, yeah. Is that me just with like a mustache and hat?
Yeah, basically. You're if you were 3 kids in a trench coat.
Hey, how much did my work pay for that box?
Oh yeah. $15.60.
Oh, wow. Okay, so cool. Because I just dropped it off and had them deal with it. So
yeah. So I got some 3D printed things by the sound of it. We have the famous and specifically Landspeeder Luke hex stands, which is something I've wanted for a long time. They look fantastic. So thank you for that. I'll definitely be incorporating that into my my display. Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2 of these little three-part guys, and then
designed by Landspeeder Luke.
That's right.
No,
specifically Landspeeder Luke. Yeah. And it's got a bunch of these little stand cover things, and then there's one looks like that goes with the helmet, so you can put the helmet.
I included extra of those base stands, so you'll have 6 for the actual hex stands, but you'll have a couple more for just like your figures that fall over, and you want like a solid base for them. Oh,
and is this one? Yes, it is. And you gave me the Dark Trooper little hovel thing for my Dark Troopers. Oh, this is gonna be so good. These are gonna look so good. So obviously, since I just opened them, these are not going to be on my page or my Instagram or anything, but they will be. So by the time you're hearing this, it probably will be on there.
And I gave you enough Dark Trooper hubs to have 2 next to each other.
Perfect. It looked like 2. Yeah, and that's exactly how many Dark Troopers I have. So it works out. Yeah. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime. It's just a lot better with 2. Like when I printed the first one, I was like, I have to have a second one because it's in the show. There's a row of them, so you at least need to have
at least
1. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so those are all my fine additions as well.
I wanted to ask you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now that we both have all 4 of the Delta Squad members, Black Series.
Yeah.
We both have Scorch as our number 1. Right. Rank the next 3.
Okay. Sev is my number 2.
Same.
I would say probably Fixer's my number 3 and Boss is my number 4.
Same. I think Fixer,
and that's just because Boss is just like, well, he's just literally, I also like his helmet. Basically, Boss is visually the most boring one. He's literally just Hunter.
Yeah.
With a different, a repaint. That's all it is. Whereas the other ones visually, have better backpacks or a cooler gun or just a more interesting paint job.
Yep, glad we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
Whenever they first revealed Fixer, the green one, I was like, that one's kind of lame. It's just like a green, and I was like, that'll probably be the worst one. But he actually has like that little comm on his head.
Yeah, the comm on his head is actually really cool.
Yeah, and like the added that piece,
the little backpack thing, whatever that is, the antenna, like the
little crossbar thing,
the volleyball net. I don't know what that is, but it's something. Yeah,
it's something. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's what that's what he dries his clothes off. That's his little hanger. He dries his clothes there. But yeah, Sev is definitely the best one. It's the 2 beams on the backpack. And it's the blaster and the leg.
And the paint job. Oh, the colors are
the
so...
colors.
Yeah.
They're all just like... I didn't expect to like them as much as I do.
Nope.
And I might go back and listen to our podcast whenever they're revealed, because I think we were okay with them not being new molds. Like, we weren't excited about it, but we were like, we'll get them, you know. But I wasn't excited about buying them individually because of the price, and like, I've never played the game. So having them as a squad, I recommend anybody who doesn't have them get them, because the prices are going up. It's kind of funny how everybody was like, like, this is whenever that boss was announced, that was one of the most mad I've ever seen the collecting community, you know, in comments and all that. Like, people were
within
furious.
a year, people were going from, oh, it's not, the body's not big enough and the color's wrong. Within a year, they went from that to, anyone got boss for a good price? Anyone can you get me boss for a good price? You know, because, and that's why you don't sleep on this stuff sometimes, because while it might be cheap one day, it might be a peg warmer one day, something will happen, and boom,
And then
suddenly you can't find it. That's right.
But that's not to say, we both do think, of course, that Hasbro should have made a 100% new mold, because they could have still made a ton of profits using, like, repeating the same color, and people would have bought them up.
At the very least, they could have tweaked it a little bit. Like, they could have given us a new forearm that doesn't have that hole in it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I'm okay. Do I prefer the beefier look from the game? Yes. But knowing that in the show they're not that much different, like, I'm more okay with it. You know, with the lack of size difference.
I do wish they could have redone, like, the torso piece to have that black collar with the lower white.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree.
Lower.
I agree.
But for what they are, like, I'm pretty excited to have them.
They look fantastic together. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we got some news.
We do have some news.
Some news and some nudes.
Hey. Black Series Cantina OnlyFans.
That's right.
Follow
That's
us
right.
on there.
Follow us on OnlyFans.
What's better than a Black Series Cantina episode with reveals and news to talk about?
Oh, it's together. It's a good episode.
And then our next episode is going to be right after Star Wars Celebration Hasbro panel. So we got
we're just
episodes of really good reveals.
We're going to be eating real good real soon. Mark my words. Mark my words.
So Amazon is shipping out some figures. They're shipping out the Luke Skywalker light cruiser from the end of Mandalorian Season 2. Mine shipped, which is how I found out about it. And then through my Amazon affiliate link, I post them on my Instagram story. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
I've noticed that quite a good amount of people have been shipping from there. So
speaking of
my links,
Luke light cruiser, I did recently post a review of this figure that did pretty well on YouTube, but I cut it up and posted it to TikTok, and I got like 50,000 views. It blew up.
It blew up.
I went from like 70 followers to like 350 followers, and like it's been a wild ride for the last couple days.
You'll pass me on there before you know it. We have that right.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I'm at 13.2 now, I think.
Yeah.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
You'll catch up. If you keep posting videos to get 50,000 views, you'll definitely catch up pretty soon.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. It was one of those things. I went to bed and it was like 200 views, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good. And I woke up and it's like 30,000 views, and I'm like, oh, dang.
Because you
kept going. Yeah.
It was at like 30 something or whatever. And then the next day it was like 50 or something crazy.
Anyways, if you want to go watch it, you can. It's fine.
I just got an idea. Whoever is the next like emerging 3D print designer, they should name themselves Light Cruiser Luke. Kind of rival Landspeeder Luke, right? Just be just steal his designs and everything, because that's what people like to do.
You mean my designs?
Yeah. Amazon is also shipping the carbonized Royal Guard and TIE Fighter 2-pack. All
this one's fun.
They sold. They're shipping out right now.
This one's fun because I'm not buying it. I'm not taking that hit on my wallet, and it feels good. Honestly,
Was this one? It was 70.
This one was $70 for 2 carbonized figures. And well, molds. Yeah, of old molds. And well, granted, unlike the Obi-Wan Kenobi 2-pack, this one at least is in blister cards, you know, so you can look at them, I guess. Like, I could theoretically buy these and hang them on my wall. Like, that is an option, but I'm never going to open them. And I just was like, I'm not spending that much to buy figures I'm never going to open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they ever go on sale or something for like, I would say even as low as like $50, like I would pay $25 a piece for them. I think that's my ceiling for getting in the door is if it goes down to like 50, I might jump on it. But anything above that, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty safe to say, like, around Black Friday, these things will be, they'll be on sale for like 45% off or something.
Yeah, probably.
Eventually this set, because usually with exclusives, if people aren't excited about it, they pretty much go on sale every single time. And nobody was, I saw maybe just a couple people, because a couple people did order it for my Amazon affiliate link. I think I sold 3 of them. So there is a market for them that they bought at full price, but it's definitely not like whenever something hype is announced and then people order like 60 of them through my link or something. That's kind of how I gauge whether people are excited about them or not.
Yeah, well, also though, because I'm obviously the main character, so everything is about me. And as a completionist, this was the figure that was like my breaking point where I'm like, okay,
it was, this was the last straw.
I'm just not going to be a completionist for the line anymore, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not mad about it. It's just it is what it is. It couldn't last forever. Just statistically speaking, something had to be that thing, and this was it. So
you could still technically say you're a completionist because mainline, I know you're getting all of them, and you have both of these molds.
It's true. Yeah, the only difference is the paint.
Probably a couple times over.
Yeah, because I'm not a release completionist. I'm just like a character or like a mold completionist or whatever. So you're right. I could still say I'm a completionist.
Yeah, I would say you're still, because you have each mold at least 2 times, because they've done the TIE Fighter mold
for both of these. Yeah.
And they've done the Royal Guard. I'm sure you have 2 Royal Guards at least.
I have like 4 Royal Guards, and I have, I think, 3 TIE Fighter pilots. So
I need a couple more for my display. I need 2 more like regular Royal Guards.
Yeah. Oh, I bought a regular one, and then one came in that 4-pack, and then I got the Carnor Jax version or whatever, and then I've got the blue one and the black one, and I've got a couple.
I saw Carnor Jax for $15, and I still passed on him.
I mean, it's up to you.
Aren't you proud of me?
I am, I guess. I mean, technically, he's Kier Kanos. He's not Carnor.
Yeah,
Jax.
that's on the box. It
says Carnor Jax. Yeah.
And I'm not really a big comic book guy, so whatever the box says, that's what it is to me.
That's what he is. Yeah, exactly. No, I get that. I get that
comic book one. Like, I saw it for $15, and I was like, I'm just gonna pass because I don't really have anywhere to put it. Because see that stack right there?
Yeah.
The stack of comic boxes, and then this pile of figures that I haven't opened yet.
Yeah.
I just don't have
they're piling up
right now. So.
Absolutely. No, I get it.
Let's talk about the Jesse pre-order.
Oh my God.
What a half.
No, it's just, I'm just gonna say it. It was a shit show.
It was awful. Half of the community seemed like it went smooth, and the other half was like,
Justin
can't even
that morning. Yeah, that morning Justin was like, "Oh, this is super easy," and I'm like, "Oh, cool," and I went to go pre-order it, and nope.
It went live right at 12. It went live a minute before.
I think it was a minute before. Yeah,
it was 12:59, and as soon as because I was refreshing like right before, and then because I know Amazon and Walmart are notorious for doing it a couple minutes earlier. It would let me add it to the cart, but as soon as you go to the cart, it would say error. You're trying to continue to check out, and they just did that for. It took me an hour and a half to finally get it.
I had an easier time buying a PlayStation 5 in 2021 than I did buying Jesse. You know, it was just so weird. And the thing is, he wasn't even sold out because he stayed in stock the whole time. And it shows you on the page how many people are buying it, and it's like thousands of people have bought this. And I'm like, crap, like
I know,
I'm
like,
just trying
sell out.
I'm just trying to buy it. It's gonna sell out. I don't want to lose this. I do want this Jesse. He's not accurate or whatever. I don't care. I want clone troopers. I want Jesse. But to whoever's credit, Hasbro, Walmart, or whatever, he was in stock the entire time. He never sold out, and whenever they fixed whatever the issue was, I eventually got it. Mm-hmm. It was, and everything was fine. But it was literally my whole morning. That morning was trying to pre-order the stupid $27 toy, and like it was just, it took up too much of my day for what should have been less than a minute of time to buy it.
Yeah.
It took way too much time out of my day to get
and it's funny because you sent the text saying this is really interfering with work.
It
and
is.
I was doing the same thing because it's busy season at work. It was distracting me so much.
Yeah, because
I would refresh and
yep. I would try it. Okay, it's not working. I'll give it a few minutes and then I'll go back to it. And it's not working. Okay, I'll give it a few minutes and go back to it. But I had to break up whatever I was doing, making breakfast, doing work, in a meeting. Like I had morning meetings that morning, and the whole time I've got a browser open, refreshing, trying to buy the stupid doll.
Yeah, it was a messy process for sure. And
yeah, it seems like it was a regional thing from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, because I guess it took you like a whole 2 hours, right, to get it?
Yes, yep. I didn't get mine until because it went live at 7 a.m. my time, which is when I got up anyway, so I didn't have to get up earlier or anything. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't buy it until about 10:15, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and after about the first 15 or 20 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm done refreshing every 30 seconds. If it fixes it, oh well, and luckily I did have somebody message me on Instagram who secured a second one just in case.
Yeah.
So we had and I know Nate ordered 2 just in case, we couldn't secure it. So we did have some backup options.
It's cool to have homies that have your back.
It is very cool to have
It's very cool. That's right.
Well, I will say credit to Walmart. This is still available for pre-order as we speak.
There we go.
Everybody, mark my words. It's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing that happened with the Umbra ARC Trooper last year. Well, later on in the year, when people are doing the toughest figure to get polls, I want you to go back and say, wow, Jesse was up for pre-order for weeks. Because with the Umbra ARC Trooper, that thing was up for pre-order for 3 weeks before the pre-order sold out. Maybe even a month. And they would pop up in stock occasionally.
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen? But people were saying it was hard to get. It's not hard to get at all. You can pre-order right now. When
Jesse comes out, people are going to start posting pictures of him in cool poses with his helmet off and all that. Mm-hmm. And they're going to go, oh, wow, that does look cool. Maybe I do want that for mine. But by that time, he's going to be hard to get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like with the Umbra Trooper. Once the first people who pre-order get it, that's when everybody's going to be like, oh, maybe I do need this. And then it'll become...
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
That's how it always is.
And especially, people were... I wish they would have done the correct helmet. But, I know a lot of people that were really complaining about it who are getting it. This might be the same thing as these Delta Squad figures. If people are complaining about it, don't get it. The price might, especially it's a Walmart exclusive Clone Wars figure, a named clone. It's a pretty good chance that one, the value of that one, it'll be very tough to get, in a year and a half or 2 from now.
Could be, and that's the thing is you never know. It could be. Exactly. It could very well be. But yeah, I think he's gonna look great on the shelf. I don't care that his helmet's wrong. I mean, I guess I'm not going to say I don't care. I do care. I can acknowledge that it's wrong and not throw a tantrum over it. Even if I was you know what? I really want one with a better helmet. I'm just not going to buy it. I still wouldn't get mad over it. It's the people that are visibly upset over this. Like they're taking it like it's a weird personal insult that Hasbro is doing to them. You know, it's like what? Calm down. It's okay. Like it'll be all right. Trust me.
It's like the people in the comments that like say they not in our Black Series Cantina comments. I'm talking about
they would never. They would
usually
never.
like Yak's comments and the occasional like comments that I get on my page like. The occasional like the people that are like, oh, I'm so done with this line. Like I know I wanted the helmet to be correct too, and I can acknowledge that it's wrong, and I wanted it to be right.
Yep,
it is unfortunate.
Yep,
but that doesn't mean I'm done with the line. You know?
No. Yeah, it's this one thing was the linchpin that your whole collection was based at. Yeah, this is the one. They're like, nope, this isn't right. So therefore, the entire line sucks. Every figure I've gotten so far is garbage because this one isn't right. And it's so weird how fickle people are, where it's all in or all out. There's no they're looking at things with nuance or middle ground or whatever, you know, the figure could be mid. That's fine. Don't buy it. There's still literally hundreds of other figures to, you know, whatever. It's so weird how personal these, like some people take these releases and figures.
Look at you using your new,
I know this
new age terms.
These kids lingos. I'm start saying cap and no cap. I just learned about that. My wife and I we watched terrible Netflix reality shows like Love is Blind and stuff. We were watching one, and one of the things was like truth or cap, and I'm like, what does that mean? I don't even know. She had to explain it to me. I'm like, I don't even know what this is saying. Like, why can't you just say wrong? Like what? Why do you have to make it weird? There's already a word for that, guys. There's kids. There's already a word for that.
False.
It's called false. Like just.
Wrong, lie.
Wrong,
that's
yeah.
Lie.
There's like
that's wrong.
Get a thesaurus, guys. Come on.
There is a podcast that I listen to every now and then. It's and it's on the Ringer verse, the Midnight Boys. They do whenever they think somebody's capping, quote unquote capping, they play the Captain America theme. Like and then they get on the person. It is pretty funny, but.
It's just so weird. Like you kids and your lingos. Like I remember when I was that kid with our new lingos, and now what I am is my Spanish teacher who was complaining about it in when I was in 11th grade or whatever in high school, and I'm thinking, oh, this old person doesn't get it, and now that's me. So that is you. Yep. 100%. And you listening to this thinking that I'm like a boomer or whatever, you know, complaining about this, you will be me one day and you will understand. Okay? You will.
It's like whenever kids these days, they say it's giving
kids these days.
They like all these teenagers are saying to describe something, they're saying it's giving weird. Just say that's weird.
That's weird.
What do you mean?
What do you mean it's giving weird? That's not a thing you give.
What do you mean? They'll be like, it's giving attitude. Why can't you just say you have an attitude?
Yeah, I don't know. People are. Anyways, this is not Black Series related. Let's stop talking about the etymology. Yeah, we are very tangentially talking about this. So Jesse, he's up if you want to pre-order him. If you don't want to pre-order him, that's fine. Here's the thing: you don't have to like it. I'm not saying you have to like this. You can not like it. That's fine. It's just not. It's a weird thing. It's a weird hill to die on. It's a weird thing to hinge your entire collection on or your collecting habits on. Like there's bigger deals, not even out there in the world. There's bigger deals in the line in toy collecting than Jesse's incorrect helmet.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
But let's talk about some things to look forward to, shall we?
Yeah. As we kind of mentioned, we went over a little earlier. Hasbro sent a little blurb out to some influencers, and it says, fans can expect exciting reveal-packed programming when Hasbro Star Wars and Indiana Jones panel begins at 4 p.m. Well, I'm saying 12 p.m. Eastern Time at the Twin Suns stage with, quote-unquote, over 20 new Star Wars The Black Series and that other line that shall not be named reveals and new Indiana Jones products inspired by adventures old and new. Among other surprises, the Hasbro Star Wars and Indiana Jones panel is not to be missed. So over 20 Star Wars, TBS, and TVC reveals.
Yeah.
next Saturday, April 8th, and we'll be live, not directly following it, but that night, time to be determined. 20 TBS and TVC reveals. That's exciting.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So I'm thinking we'll get.
I want them to knock out every pipeline. I want them to just knock out every pipeline they've had.
I think we'll get like 9 of each and 2 role play items. Well, they said over 20.
They said over 20,
like 21 or 22.
I think that's a good like breakdown. Like 9 TVCs, 9 Black Series, and that's balancing the scales. And then
no, that's cap. I'm calling cap.
Am I capping?
Yeah, you're capping. Balancing the scales would be 16 TBS, 4 TVC. They have 20 years worth of 3.75.
No, you're right. I'm still on that. No, you're right. But yeah, we have a lot to catch up on.
And Kirby says HasLab. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, I doubt it, but we'll see. If there's a HasLab, it's going to be vintage collection. We're about due for a vintage collection. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think easily we'll probably see the rest of the 40th anniversary wave, that final wave. The Darth Vader, the Luke Skywalker, based off of the Jedi Duel. Mm-hmm. What else? I can't remember. Oh, the what else is in there? Why am I blanking on this? There's like the R2, the new R2. That's what
R2, and then they're also throwing the Royal Guard. They're doing the Royal Guard in the
Royal Guard. Right? Yeah, the Royal Guard. That's it. So I'm gonna pick up another Royal Guard. Honestly, like why not? Why not? So we haven't seen those yet. I'm 100% we'll see those. I'd love to see the Black Chrysanthemum. I'd love to see the Cad Bane from Book of Boba Fett. I'd love to see the new Mando, the all new Mando or whatever.
I think we'll get mostly what's currently pipelined, and then they'll probably
so too.
Another 6 figures maybe.
Which is something I'm excited about, the pipeline. It's like, what are they going to pipeline?
That's what we have, because I feel like we've been in this state as Black Series fans for about like 5 or so months. Maybe we're like, probably even longer. The pipeline figures have been more exciting than what.
That's what I'm excited for.
Physically revealed.
Right. So, like it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice seeing what's physically revealed. Like that's really cool. Like seeing the Endor Trooper, super cool. Seeing when they showed off the Bastilla Shan and the Darth Malik. Yeah, like that was cool. Don't get me wrong. But knowing what's coming up.
Pipeline, especially since a lot of the figures that we've had physically revealed are Andor figures. So they're just like we've mentioned, humans in clothes.
Yep.
You know, but we have Cad Bane, Deluxe Chrysanthemum, Vader, R2, Return of the Jedi. Looks like that stuff is the new Mando. Like that stuff's more exciting than a lot of stuff that we've had physically revealed for a while.
And it would be fun if they surprised us with something that wasn't even the pipeline. You know,
they probably will. Like we'll probably get. Well,
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe they'll just pipeline it. We'll see.
It would be cool if they just sidelined us with something that wasn't in the pipeline, or just like, whoa, where'd that come from? You know, like I think that'd be fun.
So, do you have any hypothetically, if they do physically reveal anything, or like for the pipelines? I'm going to throw out like a panel prediction, what I think they're going to reveal.
Sure.
I think they're going to reveal a prequel Yoda for the Clone Wars 20th because they've already obviously designed that mold for the saber because of the Grogu Build-A-Pack. So I think it's a pretty good chance that we can get a prequel Yoda in this pipeline coming up.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, in that same vein, like seeing a Magna Guard, which we know is coming, would be cool. If they just wanted to,
about that Magna Guard.
If they just wanted to blow everyone away and say here's the B2 Super Battle Droid or whatever,
because I'm forgetting like all these pipeline movies. We have the Clone Wars Ahsoka. We have Magna Guard.
Yep.
We have the white clean clone. The live act, which is going to be live action. Which that gets me so excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what would be cool? You know what would be cool to eventually get? And this is a light spoiler and something that we're going to discuss more later, but since it's also sort of on the topic, it would be cool if they surprised us with a brand new 501st based on a recent live action that we saw on screen.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, and it was the Mandalorian like packaged like that's. It was part of the Mandalorian subline instead of like Revenge of the Sith or whatever.
Honestly, I hope they don't, because I have 6 of those goddamn things already.
And it's the old version, and the new version is gonna look so much better.
So if they make with this new live action version, I'm gonna have to need them to look uniform.
Well, no, what you'll do is you'll buy them for different little sections of your. So you'll have some in like maybe a Jedi Temple section, and then some over here in like a different, and you can just kind of separate them, like so they don't look side by side and look.
At you saving me money.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help you out.
I'll still get like 4.
I'm not saving you money. I'm helping you justify spending more money.
More money.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, I'll have.
You're welcome, Zach's wife.
My 6 with Anakin on the Jedi Temple stairs or whatever,
exactly.
and then I'll have a couple on the Mando shelf trying to kill Grogu or something.
Grogu, yeah, absolutely.
Look at that. That's a brilliant idea.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Live action Shock Trooper though.
Oh, it'd be so cool. I mean. Okay, well, I want to save that stuff for when we talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to say that.
It's just too exciting.
I know, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we know. I don't feel like the Hasbro panel is really gonna show us anything we didn't know was coming, unless they surprise us with a HasLab. I think it's all gonna be pretty much pipeline stuff that we knew was coming, and then the pipelines that they'll do at the end are what's gonna get us excited for the future. What I'm interested in, though, is the timeline of when these things are going to come out, because we're going to talk about the reveals they did in the last 2 weeks that we haven't talked about yet. But one of these isn't coming out to it's not slated to come out to like next year, like next April. And I'm just like, that's super far out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm
way
just
far out there.
It's pretty, and I know they've been overestimating, but I feel like they have sort of stopped doing that. I feel like they've sort of caught up. So, I'm just really curious when they announce stuff at the Hasbro panel not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That like, when is this stuff they're announcing in April of 2023? Like, is all this stuff going to come out this year, or is it going to come out next year?
December 2024.
Yeah. So, well, even in the reveals we have to talk about in just a minute, one of them is coming out next April, like I talked about, but one of them is coming out at the end of this year, or like October of this year or something like that. So it could be all over the place. I don't know, but
very well.
But speaking of which, you want to get into those reveals?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I put some on the slideshow here.
Look at this beauty of a figure. And that
was the first reveal.
The Tusken Chieftain from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and that was last week's because every was it Tuesday? Have they been doing these on Tuesday or Monday?
Yeah, the Mando Mania. Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's Mando Mania. Mm-hmm. So we had like 2 weeks of this, but they didn't reveal any Black Series figures. They revealed some like retro and some like pops and stuff.
Macro
Galaxy,
yeah, that thing.
But this is the first time we've had Black Series reveals for Mando Mania, and it's been Book of Boba Fett related, which is fine. That was last year's basically Mando season, and we're finally starting to see characters specifically from it instead of Mandalorian characters they're shoehorning into Book of Boba Fett. That's mural or whatever. So, this is a pipeline figure that we knew about, the chieftain, the Tusken Raider chieftain. Now, everyone's first reaction that I saw was, it's just a repaint. It's just a repack. But I called this. Did I not call this exactly what it was?
Yeah.
I called this. Looking at it, using my powers of deduction and memory of knowing what parts are on what.
Yeah, the only reuse on this figure is the arms and the legs. Everything else is newly sculpted. Which
makes sense. Like, why? I mean, it's a Tusken Raider.
Yeah.
You don't have to go from the ground up.
You don't have to remake the wheel or anything.
Yeah.
This is 65% new
Easily.
If you take away arms and legs, what does that leave? Like
a torso,
60% new.
head. Yeah. All the other trimmings. Yeah. The new drape or whatever, the cloth goods, which looks great. The new staff,
colors, all that. Yeah.
A lot of colors. The new. I'm not a big fan of the molded rubber skirt.
Yeah.
I get it because it can look better. It gets in the way of posing.
At the same time, I'm not gonna have that's probably the most exotic pose I'll have this guy in. If
he's a chieftain, exactly. I agree.
So it won't matter in the end, but for people who do toy photography or who do want it to be in a more exotic pose, or kids that want to play with this toy, if they do, that would get in the way. But for me, it won't be too big of a deal.
Yeah. No, I actually pre-ordered this. As far as I know, he's going to be in the wave after the Malgus wave.
Yeah, so I did want to bring that up once we're done talking about the toys specifically.
Okay. All right. So, he's got the new necklace, the chieftain necklace on. He's got a whole new head. It looks great. I mean, if you're looking for a Tusken Raider, if you want a Tusken Raider to be like the chief of your other Tusken Raiders,
this is it. This is perfect.
This is it. This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's not everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I didn't pre-order it. I held off on pre-ordering, but
sure.
I am gonna. This is definitely gonna be an instant grab for me when I see it in stock. Or I'm trying to keep my pre-orders limited, which
that makes sense. Yeah,
I have like 5 figures on pre-order now or something.
Sure, that's great. I definitely think this one's probably safe to not pre-order. In fact, I could probably go cancel my pre-order and be fine.
I mean, it's double packed.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing in that wave. I think they're all double packed.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. It's 4 double packed figures, which is a huge bummer, but nice on the wallet if you're not buying the whole case.
It is very good on the wallet if you're not buying the case. But 4 double packed figures in the case of 8, that's not good for anybody. That's not good for retailers. That's not good for a collector. I mean, I guess if it's a super desirable character, it's good to be double packed. But it's not necessarily the best. The only people this is good for is Hasbro, because they're selling 2 of everything to the retailers.
Yep.
That's not a great. They're gonna have to really make that case a banger, for it to. But I mean, we'll see. 2 or 4 double packed figures kind of sucks for a case. But I'm very excited for the Tusken Chieftain. Hopefully, I know we're eventually going to get the Tusken Warrior.
Yeah, because the TVC got and they reused a lot of Rey for that, and I don't think we'll have to worry about that for Black Series. But if we do, I'd be interested to see how it turns out.
I mean, the Black Series Rey is just so old and terrible. At least the Force Awakens one that they used for TVC.
At the very least, she does have the newer style knees. She was one of the first figures that had it. So, who knows?
But could you imagine how mad the TVC people are going to be if the TVS version is 90% new?
Yeah,
or something like that. Oh, that's going to be a good day on the timeline.
You're gonna love it. Yeah,
I'll be in my bag that day. And there's another new age term. I'll be in my bag that day.
So Tusken Chieftain looks good. I'm not super excited for it, but it's definitely I'll get one. I'll have that on my shelf. Sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially Book of Boba Fett shelf. I'll have it right with the Tusken and the Boba Fett that's wearing the Tusken robe.
Oh yeah. They're gonna look great together for sure.
They'll be singing their song, doing their little singing, whatever they do.
Putting lizards up to their noses and
all that.
doing whatever they do.
All
cool.
Right,
so
you ready for the next reveal we got?
Yeah. You know what's so funny about? And before we move on. This is the one that's coming out in April of next year. The Chieftain is scheduled to be April of 2024. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes out, but we'll see. Yep. So this next reveal was one that was pipelined in the most recent live thing that they just did back in February.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that this was revealed on February 1st.
Yeah. So this is a very recent pipeline. compared to we've had some figures in the pipeline for much longer than this.
That I want to see a little more, you know.
Yeah.
Show me that chrysanthemum. Show me those Jedi.
For sure. Look, I think Black Chrysanthemum got pipelined in July of 2022 or August, somewhere around there. Like it was San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, we've had like the Cad Bane, the Chrysanthemum, the new Mando pipeline for like a really long time. And nothing yet.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got the Luke Grogu build-up pack. And it's exactly what I expected to be, plus more. So personally, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I know not everyone is, but personally,
you have the picture?
I do. Let me hold on. I forgot to do this. I got another picture of the chieftain, but then boom,
look at that.
We got the Luke with the his little backpack on, which is the same backpack that came with the Luke Yoda Dagobah set. And then we got the Grogu to come with it. But for me, it's not just that the Luke and the Grogu and the backpack, it's all the other stuff it comes with. That's why I am excited for this.
Yeah, this was a day one pre-order for me, for sure. I mean, ever since I pipelined it, honestly, when I saw that episode for the first time, in my like phone notes on figures I wanted under like each show or movie category, I put Luke and Grogu. I didn't necessarily expect a build-up pack, but I wanted a Luke that comes with a Grogu and like the training thing. So this, and somebody posted saying, "Who asked for this?" Me. I'm literally the guy that asked for this.
Yeah,
literally
I asked for it. Yeah.
So I'm hyped about this. All the accessories. So we have them on the show notes here.
Yeah. Let me see if I can
includes. Oh yeah, you got multiple pictures. There we go.
Yeah, I got a couple. So
we got the training ground base, which isn't going to cut it. I'm going to have to 3D print us a bigger one.
It is pretty small, but I think it's cool that we're getting something like
cool
that.
Like,
these little things are things that I've wanted. Like I was super jealous of the Ahsoka that came, the TVC Ahsoka that came with like the little lantern base and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of thing I want for the Black Series.
A little more like world building and
environmental stuff. Exactly. Like I don't need I would love a whole play set, but I don't need it. But little stuff like this, where like a little rock and a little frog and like the stuff that you can have around, I want that.
It's like, because I really like those, the ones they did for like The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Or the Luke and Ray mix with the actual, you know,
I like those too.
All that.
Yep.
But honestly, would I rather have a big stand like that or all these accessories? I'd probably pick all the accessories.
Accessories.
I can just 3D print a stand, you know.
Yeah. So let's go through the accessories.
Yep. So we got the ground base with the Grogu stand, which is in that picture right there.
Yeah.
Clear.
So it looks like he's jumping basically to do a little forced jump there.
Yep. And then we got a training ball with the stand.
I don't think I got a picture of that.
No training ball. I mean, we already have it in the Black Series.
Yeah, it's the same training ball that came with the Skywalker Strikes or whatever.
The blast effect from the training ball that has that connects with the base.
And that's not the same blast effect that came with the Skywalker Strikes. That's a different blast effect. So
correct. We got the backpack, which you mentioned. Luke's lightsaber, Yoda's lightsaber, and separate hilt.
This is interesting. This is interesting to me.
This was really good because when I first saw this picture, I legit thought that we just had that empty box for just like an empty box. And then it wasn't until later on whenever I saw the video clip, whenever Eric's actually explaining, you know, there's two separate, because it's too small to have the plug-in feature, which TVC doesn't have to worry about.
Right.
So that's like something we've been asking for.
I want them to do this with every lightsaber. I want a hilt, and then I want a lit hilt without a connection point, so it's not weird, so they can hold it normally, and then a hilt that you can connect to their belt or whatever, and they don't have to worry about if they fall over, You know, you don't have to worry about the lightsaber bending because that connection point is a weak point. No matter what, no matter how thick you make it, how short or long, that little plug-in point to connect the blade into the hilt is the weak point. It will bend or break anytime.
And especially with those Inquisitor figures, they made the ends of them so thin.
Yes.
Like, come on, what are we doing?
So if it's all one piece, they don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
And with the Clone Wars Darth Maul, it's just that I have, it's frustrating because if a figure falls and lands on one of those blades, the blade bends.
There's no good way for it to fall is the problem.
Exactly.
Like with regular lightsabers.
Perfectly for and that's such a big saber. It has to hit perfectly for it not to mess up the saber.
Exactly.
We also got the chest for the Yoda saber, which we mentioned just a second ago. We have the chainmail and the cloth bag shaped like a Yoda species head. And I called it whenever we were talking about what we think it would come with. I said frog.
You did? You said frog. So that's, they said 9 accessories. That's more than 9 accessories.
If you include the bases, like the stands, more
like
than 9. Yeah.
The stand. I'm not even talking about this, like the base with the stand attached. It's fine. Training ball with stand. That's could be 1. That's 2. You know, blast effect 3. Backpack 4. The Luke's lightsaber is 5. Yoda's lightsaber is 6. But then also, I think the unlit lightsaber is its own accessory as well. Yeah. You know, the chest. That's like 10 or 11 accessories easily. It's not the Maz Kanata box, Brian asked. It's a brand new box because the Maz Kanata box is much larger.
It's fairly big, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
so let's talk about the price of this. So my first reaction when I first saw it, because I saw that white picture, they revealed it weird.
Yes, they did.
We got those white pictures with them all zoomed out, and I thought that was like what we were getting at first. And my first reaction was price might be a little high, like $3 or $4 too high. But then once you actually break it down, it's really like not that bad. And I'm like, I pre-ordered it day 1, like I'm totally comfortable paying this price for it. So let's break it down.
Yeah, so it's $44.99. Yeah, $44.99 is the total. Yeah.
So you got $25 for Luke. That leaves $20 there. I would rather pay probably $20 for this Grogu and all of these accessories than I would maybe not $25 for Grogu and that pram.
Yeah, we paid $25 for Grogu and a pram and like a couple accessories. This is way more than that for $5 less technically. But also the way I look at it is this is the same price that the Dagobah.
This is a really good point. This is a really good point.
the Dagobah Luke and Yoda 2-pack that came out in 2020. So that was 3 years ago. It came out in 2020. It was the exact same price. So if that had come out today, I was expecting it to be like $50, honestly, because of the price point raises and stuff like that. And this comes with more. Well, granted, the Yoda is a better figure than the Grogu, obviously, and the Dagobah Luke at the time was 100% new, whereas this Luke, which we haven't talked about really, this Luke is like 75-80% brand new.
Yeah.
So there's not as much new in the figures or as good in the figures, but it comes with way more accessories than that Yoda Luke 2-pack came with, and it's the same price. So if I was fine paying the $45 for that 2-pack, which I was, one of my favorite 2-packs of the entire line, great pack, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, I'm excited about the blast effect from the training ball.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have the Grogu like jump in because that's like such a cute scene in the actual.
Oh sure, yeah.
And then like Yoda force pulling him, that was like such a cute scene. So, but let's talk about the Luke real quick.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him.
I love this Luke. I love the gi ninja style tunic, and this is confirmation that another picture they show in the pipeline is exactly what they use. So they've been very good about not changing up at all. Like what you see in the picture is what you're gonna get, and so there's and I don't think there's a single one that they've messed up on.
I agree. Yeah, they're very detailed on this. So he's got the sort of the karate gi thing instead of the Jedi tunic that we're used to, or like the whatever he's not wearing the same shirt that he wore to go rescue Grogu, which a lot of people just assumed that they would just put that same figure in this and, call it a day. And I even said, because I posted a picture trying to put that same backpack onto him, like, it's not going to work. Like, they have to change something, either a different backpack or it's a different Luke. In this case, it's the same backpack, but a different Luke with a new chest, new legs, and a new head. As far as I can tell, the arms are the same, but they're good arms, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And also it is a little hard to tell about the head, whether it matches that episode 2, the light cruiser one. But to me, it looks
different.
It looks different to me.
Yeah. And a lot of people are complaining about it. No, I don't like the light cruiser head. I have it. Like, I physically have that figure. Yeah. I did a review on it. I don't think it looks good. I can tell that this is a different head. 100% this head is different. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. And I do want to bring up what we chatted about earlier. I think this is a new Grogu because we haven't had a Grogu that you actually have really good neck and head articulation where you can have him look forward and up and sideways. Because that ball joint, you can literally see the ball joint in that picture. And then the scarf area, it's flatter on top.
It is flatter. So
he has more, and it's like puffier almost. He has more room to look around and like move his head for emotion. And if you go through like another picture of Grogu, if you have him, go to another one.
That's all I got.
Yeah, like his head is in. Yeah, I see that. That's a perfect picture. His head is like tilted to the right. You can actually tilt his head for.
It's more expressive. Yeah, it's more
Grogu.
expressive.
But the other Grogus, it's just like it's stationary essentially. I mean, you can twist it, but you can't like look up, down, lean really. So that'll be a nice Grogu to have. Look at that cute picture. How sweet.
So there's a couple of things that I put on this little slideshow. One of the problems people have, which you've talked about in our little chat group, is the color of the backpack. I don't think it's that off, but I do think it's a little too white. But I don't think it's as bad as people think, because it's very faded. Like I brought this picture in to show us, it's not the same. Well, it might be the same backpack that he used with Yoda. It's not the same color blue that it was back in Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Yeah.
This is still at least a blue shade, though.
Yeah.
But the white, they used an all white backpack, which is just a little.
I don't know, because like on the box here, it doesn't look as white. Like if you're looking at them closely, like it's still, to me, but I'm colorblind, so I'm really bad.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm about to call cap on this, because to me it looks pretty white to me.
Okay.
So I think your colorblindness might be coming in, but
it could be. Yeah,
that's probably an advantage.
Yeah,
that's
it looks fine to me. Come live in my colorless world. Everything looks great.
But I mean, I literally could care less.
Yeah, it's not a make or break
thing for me. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited about it. Give me every Luke from this era, and I'm ordering it day one. I will say though, if we see Luke in Mando season 3, I'm ready for him to start wearing like some more colors.
Yeah, not black, more black. He's going through a goth period.
Yeah, I'm ready for him to transition to maybe the white and tan something.
Sure.
Maybe like a traditional Jedi robe over a tan or white. Like, let's get Luke in something different. Like, does this dude only have black in his closet? Like, I know he rated his dad's closet. Yeah, right. He took the inspiration, but come on, Luke. The all black look was supposed to hint that you're going to turn to the dark side with your dad.
Yeah,
for eternity. I don't need him 5 years after only wearing black.
But so my
it's a
question,
sick look, but
well, my question, and it kind of gets back to the title that I titled this. We just got the the light cruiser Luke. We're getting this Luke. Which are different, but they're still two Lukes from the same era. We know we're going to get a Jedi dual Luke probably revealed in 2 weeks or whatever. Like, are we getting oversaturated with Luke Skywalker? / can you get oversaturated with Luke Skywalker?
So my opinion is, I do think there is a point with every character that it can get to be a little much. But I will say he's in new media. It's just a perfect, like, the moon and the stars are aligning to where he's in new media in this outfit, and it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So those circumstances are kind of making, like, they have to release a new Return of the Jedi Luke. But and we've talked about this on the podcast before. There are certain characters that are evergreen, as the term you've brought up before. There's evergreen characters that you need to release because not everybody's been collecting the line for 4 or plus years. Not everybody's been in the line since the beginning. You know, not everybody's been in the line for, you know, the last 3 years or 2 years or 1 year even. Some people are just now getting into the line, and this is their first opportunity to grab a Luke from this era. I will say there, like I said, there is a point with every character, and we're getting 3 Lukes, so I think we're good now. It just depends if he shows up in like Ahsoka, if they try to do another one. But this is what I'm saying. They got to change his color a little bit, and then I'll be totally in, you know, for another Luke from this era.
Take a note from Bad Batch Season 2, you know, add some fun colors in there.
Yeah, drop some like red and orange or whatever. But
give us some stripes.
I just think it's like he's in new media and he's so in demand. You know, it's Luke freaking Skywalker.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like it's like in the Masters of the Universe line, or even the original vintage Star Wars line. You know, they always had a Darth Vader. They always had a Luke Skywalker. They always had a Chewbacca. Even though there weren't really different versions of those characters. Really, especially not Chewbacca and Darth Vader. Like they were the same from 1978 or whatever those figures originally came out to like 1985 when they discontinued the line. Like there wasn't a different Darth Vader. There wasn't a different Chewbacca. They just kept releasing the same figure over and over and over again because they're, like you said, and like we've said, there are always new people collecting. The people that, and there's people that stop collecting, and you want to be able to have those figures, those characters specifically accessible to newer collectors. So I'm okay with this. I know people have a tendency to see it as like a zero sum system, like because I'm getting this, I'm not getting something else. But the difference is really time. Like that's true maybe for this year, like this month, this release, because they added this figure into this wave. That means another figure isn't in this wave. But if you look at the line as a whole, you know, who's to say we're not going to get that figure next year? Someone asked me, you know, on Reddit, or was it Instagram? I think it was Instagram, where it was another one of those like, who asked for this? And I'm like, well, like I did. Like, don't confuse yourself with everybody. You don't have to like this, but don't assume that because you don't like this, no one else likes this too. Like you are not the main character. You're not the only person to have this opinion. And I'm not saying you have to like it, but just acknowledge the fact that there are other people that have collected differently from you or that have different tastes from you, and they do like this. And because they're getting this doesn't mean that you're not getting something else. It might mean that you're not getting it right now, because he tried to have this gotcha moment, like, would you rather have a 40th Luke in the line or a Darth Crate? And I'm like, well, I'd want both. Like why do I have to choose? Like, I want this version of Luke from Book of Boba Fett, and I also want a Darth Crate. Give me a Darth Crate. Give me a Luke. I want both. Like there's no reason you can't say both. Both is an option.
Yeah. So do you think we're oversaturated with Lukes?
I don't think so. I don't think we will be until we've hit all the Lukes, you know? So I'm of the opinion, like, I want every version of every character. If this is a version of a Luke we don't have, do it. But the other problem I was running into is, with Mandos, I do think and even to a point, Grogu, like, they released 5 different versions or whatever of Beskar Mando. Like, I only really need one Beskar Mando, unless, there's a season 2 update or whatever. That's fine. But like, it's still just Beskar Mando. Whereas, this Luke is potentially different from the Lightspeed Cruiser Luke, which is potentially different from the final dual Luke, so like, I do want those. I want all those. But at the same time, I also want weird one-off characters. Give me a Garindin. Give me a Hammerhead. Give me a Darth Krayt. Give me all those. I want them all. But I think after this little stint, it would be cool if they took a break from Luke and gave us some other stuff. But I also look kind of like what you were saying earlier is this is a main character. Like, this is arguably the main character of Star Wars, especially for a lot of people, that grew up in the OT as their Star Wars. Like Luke Skywalker, for the longest time, was the main character of Star Wars. He was who Star Wars was about, was Luke's journey.
Yeah.
So I think Luke is really hard to get oversaturated on specifically.
Yeah, especially since he's in so much new media.
So much. Yeah, especially they're putting him in new media. Absolutely.
And like for me, Anakin is my main character of Star Wars. And I just wish they would do him as many times as they've done Luke. And also think about it, we might be getting more Lukes because they're 100,000% gonna do Kid Luke from Kenobi, in my opinion. I'm calling it right now. That's gonna be
sure, but
that's a Luke in 2 weeks.
That's a Luke, but it's not the same kind of Luke. That's not even.
But
close.
It's still a Luke.
He might as well just share the name. But you're right. You're right.
And then
you're right.
We could eventually get a sequel trilogy Luke finally. That's not the
Krayt TFA, or whatever. Yeah,
like the Krayt Luke or the Desert Island one. Like, there's more Lukes we can get, but it's probably best if they do take a little bit of a break. At least maybe from this era, anyways. But for me, I want every Luke. Just release a whole wave of Lukes. I don't care. I'll pre-order the case of them. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Release all the Lukes, but I feel like after this one, just maybe take a little bit.
Well, and we'll probably, because they showed off that Jabba's Palace Luke with the Rancor. Like, I'm positive we're gonna get that at some point.
With put the bone in it.
Yeah, give him a bone.
If they give that Luke with the bone, that'll just be even more a shot in the heart every time I look at it. You know what I mean? Because that's supposed to be a tear.
You should have had a Rancor.
Here we go again. Here we
go again. We can't go one episode without bringing up the Rancor.
It's just like, this also proves what me and the source were chatting, and and you know that, like, the people who make the decisions at Hasbro and Lucasfilm, they see Luke on the screen in this era, bam, pipeline figure instantly to the shelves. We see, we need an episode 3 Anakin. We've seen it on screen now. It needs to happen. Come on, Hasbro, I'm begging you. Like, but we just get, every time we see Luke, we get a Luke. But we need Anakin. Okay, end rant. I have to
rant. I know.
I have to have one. We don't have a new Anakin rant, like episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
Anakin rant every episode until
at least once a month, at the very least, every other episode. Yeah.
How many more, like, over or under 8.5? Well, that might be high. Over or under 6.5 Luke Skywalker figures announced before we get a new episode 3 Anakin. It better be under, or I'm gonna be pissed off.
Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see.
But the person did say, when I was chatting with them, that could change. Quote, that could change with the recent media he's been in and potential media he is in. Oh,
so okay, we'll see.
So that's what they said. So that's what I'm
said.
That's what I'm banking onto. The quote unquote that could change with his recent media appearances. So cross my fingers. The decision makers at Hasbro, give us what we want. Okay, and Anakin rant. Moving on.
Rantikin.
That's just my every episode.
On this episode of Rantikin.
Yeah, I'll have a new one next week.
There you go.
But yeah, guarantee. Yep. And I'm going to call it. That's one of my predictions. Next Saturday, whenever we do our Saturday Night Live.
Pipeline. Brand new. Head to toe. Episode 3.
No. they're gonna pipeline the kid Luke from Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
With the toy, I'm calling it now.
All right.
24.
You know what?
Double pack.
You know what I want. You know what?
Tusken Chieftain.
Okay. Oh God, I wouldn't mind a 2-pack or a build-up pack if it came with the Obi-Wan Kenobi from the end of that episode.
Now you're talking my language.
I know a lot of people, even Brian in chat said, "Oh, young Leia and Luke 2-pack." But the thing is, they never interact in the movie. Yeah. They don't interact. Like their brother and sister, yeah, but they don't know it at this point. They're just two young kids in the same thing that we know are related. But like a young Anakin, a young Luke Skywalker with, you're right, the little Skyhopper model, and then the Mythos Obi-Wan from the end of the Obi-Wan series. I think that would be a fun 2-pack.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Wilbon says pod racing Anakin. Could you imagine the HasLab Anakin pod racer?
I think a HasLab pod racer would be really cool. Like a 6-inch scale pod racer. I don't even really love episode 1, but the pod racers are cool.
You got to get the pod racer. You know, I would drop some serious cash on a HasLab, because I would want them to do a regular version. But if it's not HasLab, it's not going to be like, the paint detail won't be there. You won't have a lot of intricacies with it. But HasLab would make it perfect, and people would eat it up, I think.
And Brian, the new head-to-toe R2-D2, I'm almost positive that's going to come with a hidden lightsaber. The original R2-D2 did, so I don't see why this R2-D2, especially because it's themed after, it's a Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary release. Like, it will have a lightsaber port to come out of its head. Like, that's just a thing. Yeah.
I don't think it'll have as many little features as the original. No. Especially because the size.
Sure.
You know,
it'll be bigger.
I do think it'll have at least the
lightsaber.
And then maybe one tool. But I don't think
it would be cool if he had the Jabba the Hutt, like, drink. That would be rad. I would probably want that more than I want the lightsaber, honestly.
Yeah, 1,000%. But honestly, just if I'm Hasbro, I'm releasing the regular one first, and then I'm releasing that one separately.
Fair enough.
You know?
Well, I'm just thinking, because it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. We know it's part of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi line. I'm just trying to think of ways to make it more interesting than just regular Luke Skywalker.
They would put it in the same pack, but realistically, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, the original R2 was made to encompass basically every possible thing R2 could come with. He came with the rocket packs. He came with the little scope from Empire Strikes Back. He came with the lightsaber. Like, he was an R2 for every era. So it would be cool. They don't even have to do it every era. They could specifically just do Return of the Jedi. Give him the little drink stand to go on his head. Give him a lightsaber to pop out of his dome, and be done with it. Like, that's all you need. Easy.
A drink stand would be sick.
A drink stand would be rad. But I'm not holding my breath. Don't get me wrong.
Never mind. I'll tell you after the show.
Fair.
I'll tell you after. So
that's it for the reveals.
That's it for the reveals. So
I got some discussions. I added something. I see you guys see that I added something to this.
Oh yeah, cool.
I wanted to talk about this.
That's right. All right, the floor is yours.
Okay, so this last week or so, McFarlane revealed 2 vehicles scaled around their 7-inch DC line, a Batmobile from Batman, the Flash movie, but it's like the Batman '89 Batmobile, and then also a Batwing. The Batmobile is like $60. And it's 7-inch scaled. So, of course, people instantly are like, why is Hasbro trying to get us to buy a $350 car for Marvel Legends or whatever, and McFarlane's over here, doing a $60 car. And then the Batwing, which is huge, don't get me wrong, and that one's $250, so again, cheaper. And kind of it's not a mass retail piece. It's something you can only buy on, I think, Todd McFarlane's website. But it's still cheaper than like a 6-inch Black Series would be. And a lot of people are using this as like a comparison to dunk on Hasbro and HasLabs. And I just wanted to discuss it for a little bit, maybe talk about the pros and cons or maybe the whys. Not so much defend Hasbro, because I get what people are saying. Like, you're right. It is cheaper. But like, is it a fair comparison is what I'm saying. And I don't think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, people are, because the Batwing, it's more of a, like, it looks more of a like a toy.
That's my
rather than a legit like collectible, right?
Yes,
from what I could get from it. Yes. And I only looked briefly, and then I kind of read what you all said in the chat.
Yeah,
but the HasLab Ghost Rider vehicle had like so many intricacies about it. Like the inside was like fully detailed.
Yep.
And it's like a legit collectible. And you had all these like
lights and
parts. And I didn't back it. Like
me neither.
I don't but like it looked really cool. And people are comparing it to the Batwing to junk on Hasbro, but I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, you know.
Yeah. But I think they're trying to use this as a way of saying, like, see, Hasbro can do it. They're just trying to be greedy. And I really don't think it's a fair comparison, because all they're looking at is essentially scale and size and price. But that's not the only three things that matter. Like, if you're looking at that, at the Batmobile, that thing looks, I mean, it looks like a toy. Don't get me wrong. If you're into that, if you're excited about it, by all means, be into it, be excited about it. But it doesn't come with anything. It's got zero accessories other than 4 rolling wheels and an opening cockpit. It's got nothing. It barely, the plastic, I don't think it's got really hardly any paint on it. The plastic looks, I mean, I'm just basing off him handling it, but it looks light. It looks hollow. It's literally just plastic in the shape of a Batmobile.
It'll essentially be like the
with nothing else. Yeah, but at least the snowspeeder, the snowspeeder was hollow, 100%. But at least I feel like it was more substantial, and it came with more stuff. Like, this doesn't come with a Batman figure. It doesn't come with any accessories.
That's wild to me that it doesn't even include a Batman figure.
Yeah.
And so isn't this Batwing, like, I don't follow it too closely, but isn't this still, like, it looks similar to what people want, but don't people want more, like, a more accurate to the 89 Batman?
And that's the thing, is it's not accurate. It's not accurate to the 89 movie, and it's also not accurate to the upcoming Flash movie. So it's a Batwing, and it's big. It's like 37 or so inches from, wing to wing. It's huge. It's just, for the price, I don't think, like, even if I were into this, I don't think I would be into this. Yeah. If that makes sense. I'm not into it, and I'm not excited about it. But, I don't want to take anything away from people who are excited about it. But I just don't think it's a fair comparison, especially when people are comparing it to like a failed HasLab, like the Engine of Vengeance. But compare it to like the His Tank. The His Tank is $350, so it's $100 more than that. It comes with like 4 or 5 figures. It comes with a ton of accessories. It's got so much going on. Working lights, working treads, bunch of space to hold a bunch of figures instead of just one cockpit seat that has almost no detail on it, things like that. So, or if you want to compare it to like the Engine of Vengeance, that with all the figures that it would have come with had it, been fully funded or whatever, I feel like that's a more fair comparison, but really it's comparing a toy, a mass release toy, to, like you said, it's a collector's item. This is a collector's piece. This is a limited edition collector's piece. And yes, it is a toy, but it's more than that. Whereas the Batmobile, like, it's just a toy. Like, that's all. It's just a toy.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it, but I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, because I know that was kind of like a big toy topic the last.
It was.
Couple days.
The last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to talk about Bad Batch?
Yeah. So
couple episodes.
So the end of this, the rest of this episode, for people listening, we're going to talk about the last couple episodes of Bad Batch and Mandalorian. So if you're not caught up on there, maybe you go watch them and then come back and listen to the rest.
It sounds like a deal. Let me. I'm gonna hop off the stream real quick and go watch them. I'll go watch them.
All right.
And I'll be back.
Yeah, we'll record this in real time, so I'll see you in about 40 minutes or so.
Well, then I gotta do 2 episodes of each, so it'll be like 2 hours maybe.
Yeah. You're right.
Hours
okay. Yeah. So this would be a good 5-hour podcast. Where 2 hours in the middle is me filling time while you watch an episode.
Yeah, just do some. I know you just do some unboxings or something.
There you go.
Just film your YouTube reviews live.
That's what I'll do.
People.
Yeah.
So we do have. Was it 2 episodes or 3 episodes? Bad Batch we haven't talked about. I think it's 2.
I think it's 2. It's 2 episodes. We have
the one with the island.
Yep.
And
Pabu or something like that
or something.
Yeah.
Which was a table setting episode. You know.
Exactly.
Table setting.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad episode. I think people were wanting it to be meatier, but I enjoyed it. It was a relaxing, beautiful episode.
Yep. And then we had, I forget the title of it, but a very
tipping point.
Yeah. Very awesome episode because you remember last Black Series Cantina podcast, I said whatever Echo and Rex are doing is kind of more interesting. And that's such a neat thing because literally one episode we have the Bad Batch on this island kind of chilling.
Yep.
And then the next episode, we have Rex and Echo actually getting some shit done. And I said, that's more interesting. Let's follow them. And we finally...
And we are. Well, we will get there. This is going to be and we talked about this before. This is where everything's going to start coming. Like all the threads we've been following and setting up are getting everyone to the point where they're all going to come together. Like we're going to have another reunion with Crosshair. Like everything's coming together. So... yeah. I'm excited for it. Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about episode 3. Or not, sorry, I just looked at our notes and for Mandalorian. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Pabu episode of Bad Batch.
No, it was fine. Like you said, it's just kind of setting them up. And it's getting them away from what's her face, Sid, which is fine. It's what we want because it was basically like a mission of the week, and it was kind of getting stale. So they're breaking up that point, but they have to go somewhere, right? So this is kind of going to be their little base of operations or whatever. I'm sure it'll play into it. I'm sure somehow them being there will bring the Empire there and screw everything up. It's going to be emotional, all that stuff. But it was a really pretty island that got wrecked by a wave and stuff, and it had some
just
good,
like a mission episode. But the tipping point was really good episode. Really good episode. Yeah. And how many more do we have?
2 more. So next week is the finale, and it's 2 episodes.
Nice. So
yeah.
Do you think they'll successfully save Crosshair?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like someone's going to die. I feel like it's either Crosshair or Tech. That's my prediction.
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to bite the bullet, you know.
Yep. Either Crosshair will sacrifice himself to save, his brothers or whatever, and kind of in the process redeem, becoming a fascist, essentially.
Yeah, just being a total asshole.
Just being a dick.
Ever since even those 4 Clone Wars episodes, he was just a total dick then too.
That's kind of always been like a very abrasive personality, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, somebody has to die, in my opinion.
I think it's inevitable. But we also we have the Mount Tantus science guy who's voiced by Jimmy Simpson, who is a fantastic actor, and I think his voice for this scientist guy is incredible. Absolutely love it.
And he's a much better villain than Rampart was.
100%. And he wants Omega for some reason. And I'm just we don't know why. And I'm super curious. I'm waiting for that reveal to find out.
Yeah. And it was cool to see the Tarkin appearance again on the hologram talking to that guy. So if that guy has direct communication with Governor Tarkin, he's important. They're telling you he's important to whatever Tarkin has going on with these clones or with these experiments or whatever they're doing with the clones. So he's already like a level above Rampart, because Rampart always seemed, somebody said it recently, I forget if it was a podcast or like our chat or whatever, but Rampart was kind of like that mustache twirling villain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which was a good way I heard to put it. But this guy is he seems a little more cynical. And I know Rampart did shoot that clone to try to cover his tracks. But this guy, there's just something like evil about him. Like
dark
because
evil.
He's doing like this, because there's these like villains that are, oh, I'm a bad guy and I'm doing stuff for the Empire. But then there's in any show really, like I work for the big bad, so I'm doing these bad things. But then there's like the people who do the science and they actually test people's bodies for evil reasons or for like nefarious purposes. And those guys are like truly scary, because that happens literally in real life. Like that's literally happened, in real life. So those guys are just scary.
I agree. So I love the character. Wouldn't mind a toy of him. I'd be more interested though in getting a toy of like Cody, or someone like that.
The black and white, or like the black and gray Cody.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised Cody wasn't in this episode. I was kind of expecting him to be there.
That's one of the things that's disappointed me about the season so far is I know he'll definitely be in one of the finale or both of them. Yeah. But I wanted, especially since we got him so early, that was like the second or third episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was pretty early on. Yeah.
Like they gave us that, what's it called? Chekhov's gun. Where if you show it early, if you show the gun,
you gotta use it.
You have to
use it. Yeah.
But like it's like they're saving Cody for the very end, and I'm like, I was hoping he'd be a little more consistent, just like Rex. I was hoping Rex would be a little more consistent than he's been. I know he popped up in that one episode to save that senator or whatever.
Yeah, he's in that one, and he was in this most recent one wearing like a completely different outfit. And again, wouldn't mind that, I guess. But
like I was hoping they would be a little more intertwined, and I think if they were a little more intertwined, these side plots that the Bad Batch are doing that aren't as interesting, it'd be a little better. Yeah, that's one of the downgrades to me is like I agree. We haven't had enough time with Cody specifically. Because they gave him.
Well, here's the problem though: is that the show's not called Commander Cody. The show's called The Bad Batch.
I get that, and that's also another like small thing that I would I would honestly rather the Bad Batch be involved in the show. Yeah. If it were essentially a sequel to the Clone Wars and not focused on them, because I'm gonna be honest, like the characters are cool. Yeah. But I don't feel connected with like those characters necessarily. So a lot of times whenever they're doing something that's not directly related to overarching plot, the episodes are cool and they're cool to see, like the missions are fun, but since I'm not invested in the characters at this moment anyways, it's not as great for me to watch. That's why I wish it was more of a show about Rex, Echo, Cody, and the Bad Batch rather than the Bad Batch,
So the Bad Batch was the clones we made along the way. Yeah, basically. Yeah, yes. The real Bad Batch was. Yeah, I just. I think like the problem is kind of the same that we're gonna get into episode 3, where they're not doing of Mandalorian, where they're not doing a good job of like mixing up the story, where we're getting large chunks of this and then large chunks of that instead of kind of intertwining them, so we're getting smaller chunks of each. Like if you read a book or whatever, you're reading the whole book, but you'll have like a half a chapter from this character's point of view and a half a chapter of seeing what's going on with the bad guys and a half a chapter of some other character you're following. And they kind of, it's all the same story. It's all the same book, but unless it's first person and you only see everything from that one character's perspective, we see a lot more kind of sprinkled in. Whereas you're right. In this one, it's like, this whole episode is the Bad Batch hanging out on this island. This whole episode is just Crosshair hanging out with some clones people. This whole episode is, it's where it's like they're they're not like mixing it
Yeah.
up. So when we get a whole episode dedicated to just one thing, you're like, okay, what's going on with these other people? I feel like I haven't seen them in forever.
And like what they're doing is more interesting because especially
Yeah.
I mentioned this last podcast whenever that episode where they're getting that serum for Sid from that mine, and they're like, oh, we lost our ship, let's reach out to Echo and Rex, but they're like, oh, they turned their comms off for a super secret mission or something. Like, let's go.
What's that mission? Yeah. I want to know what that mission is. Yeah.
I don't want to watch you try to grab this stuff for Sid.
Yeah.
I want to watch Rex and Echo go on some crazy mission.
Or again, it would have been cool if they had shown us what's going on there. And it's not like, and here's the other thing. It's not like, oh, you know, Rex and Cody have a different voice actor. It's the same guy.
For everybody, yeah.
It's just D. Bradley Baker doesn't get paid per clone role. I'm pretty sure. You know, I'm pretty sure he just gets a lump sum of doing the shows.
I think there's a voice actor, like union almost. Maybe not necessarily a union, but there's like
it's like a guild. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a role in contracts to where you can only play a certain amount of characters without getting more. But he
okay.
I heard he has a special contract with Lucasfilm to where he makes more than like the regular voice actor would for playing that many.
Sure, because he's playing so many. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things when you're watching like a cartoon where one time a specific character is voiced by like a famous person, and then that character keeps showing up, but they never talk or whatever because they don't want to have to like get that famous person back and pay them to do it. So you're seeing them on screen, but they never say anything.
Yeah.
It's like D. Bradley Baker is voicing all these characters. They can use any of the clones that they want at any time. Like they could have shown us, because it was even a 2-part episode. Like we didn't have to see them rescuing some little like pissant orphan kid. They could have taken that whole thing of them trying to get their ship back or whatever and shown us what was going on with Cody. You know, so we saw that both sides. Like I think you're right, that would have been much more interesting.
Yeah, like what we're getting is good.
It's fine.
I feel like there's so much meat left on the bone this season so far.
Yeah,
and a lot of it also has to do with, I feel like this has been a kind of like a really lame Hunter season.
He hasn't done much. Yeah.
Like every episode, he's been kind of, especially early, he seems exhausted and like depressed almost. Yeah. Like I know taking care of us, or Omega is probably, I almost said Ahsoka. Taking care of Omega is like probably tiring. He's like kind of a father now, but he hasn't, other than that episode on Kashyyyk, I feel like he's had a really lame season.
I don't think they know what to do with him is the problem. And I think that's one of the reasons why they took Echo out of the season, is because like Echo and Tech kind of overlap a lot. Whereas, you know, we saw in the most recent episode the differences there, because you know, Echo could get the information, but he didn't know how to access it because it was encrypted or whatever. So they needed Tech to do that. Like that makes sense. That shows, okay, while Echo is part robot or whatever, they still need smart guy Tech to decrypt the information,
which is really cool. Like
it was
combo.
Cool.
You know, they should have done that more through season 1.
Yeah,
and 2.
But I feel like that, like I said, there's just, they don't really know what to do with these characters sometimes because they're all there all the time. Whereas I feel like this season specifically, we focused a lot on Tech
and Omega
and Omega's relationship with a little bit of Wrecker thrown in here, and you know, and you're right, Hunter's kind of gotten, I feel like, the shaft, and Echo specifically got straight up sidelined.
Yeah, and to me, Hunter's the coolest one of the group.
Yeah,
you know. So I wish it were more him. He needs to take a bigger role. Like the story needs to, and like the thing they're getting to eventually is it seems like it's going to be this, you know, clone rebellion.
Yep.
I just think we should be seeing a little more of the interworkings of that starting up. You know,
well,
but
I feel like we are. I feel like this episode was definitely a good start in that direction.
Yeah.
But we only have the last 2 episodes to go. So
exactly. And it's like some of these shows, like it seems like Bad Batch, they're giving us a little bit, a little bit, and then like a lot right at the end. Like
at the end,
space that out a little bit and still give us a lot at the end. Just give us a little more meat throughout it. But I'm still enjoying it. Like it's a good show. It's just it's not like Clone Wars. It's no Clone Wars season 7 or anything.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Clone Wars wasn't even Clone Wars season 7 until like season 7. The first 3 seasons of Clone Wars are very similar to this. Where like there are some decent episodes, but there are a lot of clunker episodes, slow episodes. People don't care about these episodes. You know, another Jar Jar episode. Okay. You know, so like it's
Netflix for it to really take off.
Yeah. So, well, I would say end of season 3, beginning of season 4 is when it started getting interesting. And then every season after that sort of built into it and it culminated into season 7. But even season 7 has the Ahsoka sister, you know, episode arc, which I don't hate, but compared to like the first arc and that last arc, it's definitely the weakest part of the season, you know?
Yeah, the only problem I have with that arc is like it's the final season of Clone Wars.
Yeah, we have so many things we want to see, and you're showing us
like
Ahsoka.
We could have not seen Ahsoka doing that, and we could have seen like some Mace Windu stuff, some Jedi stuff.
Yeah,
rather than her going through that little.
No, I agree. I didn't hate it, but it's the same kind of thing. I'm just saying it's not unique to Bad Batch, is what I'm saying. You know,
very true.
This is a problem with. I would say. Maybe to the point only like Rebels doesn't really suffer from this once it gets going. Like towards the end of season 1, it's pretty much a nonstop thrill ride from the end of season 1 all the way to like there might be 1 or 2 episodes that aren't great.
Yeah, there's usually like Rebels and the thing about the Rebels is like the seasons were so long. There's like 19 or 22. Is that right? They're like
I think season 4 was only like 13 episodes, but the rest of them were
like 19 or something.
Yeah.
So Rebels has the occasional like you know, we got to do this retrieval mission, but they were like in the rebellion.
Yeah, but even those are fun. Like the one where they have to rescue Wedge and they steal the Y-wings that we see in Star Wars, and there's a ton of those. even the one where Chopper's just trying to steal that leg because it matches his other leg. You know, like it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really make a big difference. But you like Chopper so much, you kind of want to see him get that leg, even though he's kind of being a dick about it.
And also, like with the Rebels, we knew like they were joining the rebellion, like they were part of the rebellion, so we knew they had an overarching thing they're trying to do. But with Bad Batch, they're kind of in this middling. We don't really know.
Yeah, what's happening? What's going to happen? Yeah, what's are they just treading water right now? Because treading water isn't fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. We'll move into Mando. That's kind of season 3 of Mando's problem so far. I feel like it's doing a lot of setting up.
Yeah, they're definitely setting the table.
They're setting the table, and it could. And I am confident that it's going to have a really cool payoff. We have 4 more episodes. We know Ahsoka stuff is coming. Like we know even, you know, like Rebels content is coming to this universe. Like we know that's going to happen. So I'm confident it's going to be one of those things where we're going to ramp up real quick using the building blocks that we've set so far. But that being said, we did get a whole hour-long episode that was mostly Dr. Pershing cruising around Coruscant, which on one hand, I thought was interesting to watch. It was cool to see how the New Republic treats its citizens, treats former Imperial people. Like that was interesting, but it wasn't the Mandalorian.
Yeah, like I really liked it, and I actually wouldn't mind if it's like a soft launch for a scientist side series, you know, mini series maybe.
Or some kind of like espionage, like New Republic kind of series. Like maybe it'll lead into Skeleton Crew or something. I don't know. Absolutely agree. Oh, plus, you know, we want to know what's like. I want to know what's happening in the Republic. Like this is stuff I want to know for sure. Yeah.
Like episode 3. It was interesting how they bookended the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan stuff, and then they had the whole 45 minutes or whatever of just Dr. Pershing stuff.
And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Me too, but it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where, you know, instead of them mixing it up, where we get a little bit of Mandalorian, a little bit of Pershing, a little bit of Mandalorian, a little bit of Pershing. It's like, here's 5 minutes of Mandalorian, here's 45 minutes of Dr. Pershing, and here's another 5 minutes of Mandalorian or whatever, and that's the whole episode. Like, just find a way to mix it up, I guess. I don't know. Like, you know,
it probably would have been a little better if it were intertwined.
Exactly. Bit. Yeah.
Because we could have gotten a couple more minutes of Mando and Bo. Sure. Well, we're gonna get a lot of that.
We're gonna get a lot, and I love how much the season is actually focusing on Bo-Katan. Someone on one of my things that I read posted on, someone was like, it'd be cool if each season of Mandalorian focused on like a different Mandalorian instead of Din Djarin the whole time. And I feel like that's kind of what the season's doing, is we're getting a lot of Bo-Katan in this. We're seeing a whole journey from her, going from being a disillusioned Mandalorian whose people have left her to where she's sort of refinding and reconnecting with her Mandalorian heritage. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people were writing a lot of stuff of this Mandalorian stuff off as, oh, it's just cult stuff. Whereas, no, maybe this is the actual Mandalorian way. Just so many people have stopped doing it that that's become the norm. Well, but even then, like she said, she took the creed as a kid. She said those words. So it's not like they took a different creed. Like, she knows the words. She knows the whole, like, you know, should not speak unless you know, or whatever. Like she's familiar with this stuff. The whole mythosaur thing. Like she knows this stuff. She knows why Din is there. It's not like she's like, why are you going to the pools? Like, she knows why he's going to the pools. She just didn't think it was anything special, you know, until she went to the pools too and saw friggin' mythosaur, you know. So I feel like we're going to probably discover maybe there's more to the whole Mandalorian thing than we thought. Maybe it's not so much a cult as more like the original way the Mandalorians were, kind of thing. And maybe it's going to turn her into someone who could be the leader of Mandalore, as opposed to someone who just says she's the leader of Mandalore. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I'm interested to see where it's going.
Yeah. 100%. I still don't really know if I like that specific zealot group of Mandalorian, and I'm calling them zealots because Bo-Katan called them zealots a long time ago, saying they're creepy, crazy Mandalorians that keep their helmet on. Like, you can't put Baby Yoda in a helmet. You can't do it. I know Disney's not going to let them do it, number one. I don't want Baby Yoda to be covered up in a helmet all the time. I need that emotion. I need that cuteness.
Yeah, I feel like there might be, by the end of the season, some sort of balance we find between those two things. But because, like, you know, just watching them eat in this last episode, she's like, how do you eat? They're like, well, you have to go find some place no one's around and eat, but since you're the leader, you get to stay here by the fire, you know. Like, that's so lonely. You every time you eat, you have to be by yourself. Like, that sucks. Like, that's a very communal thing to do. Or like your kid, like, you know, they spent most of this episode saving Paz's kid that you don't even find out he's his kid until like halfway through the mission.
So then that confirms the helmet stays on during sex.
100% it does.
They procreate.
Stays on. No,
unless
they're knocking buckets, dude. They are knocking buckets. Yeah, that's right. But you know, it's like I saw a conversation on Reddit where it was like, you know, that was the last, like, him putting that helmet on, his kid putting that helmet on is like the last time he'll ever see that, and his kid has never seen his dad's face. Like, never seen his dad's face. But that does open up fun sitcom-y vibes that we can get into, where Paz has to be in two places at once, so he has someone else wear his clothes, and he doesn't know. But you know,
that's a side series.
It's a side series, yeah.
So I think it's been a lot of table setting, and which has been fine.
Yeah.
Like, but it would be better, because we're halfway through the season now.
Yep.
If we had this much table setting and we had 12 episodes,
like Andor, where we had
like Andor.
We had 2 episodes of setup and then a really kick-ass episode. And 2 episodes of setup, we have a really kick-ass episode. Yeah.
Because I feel like with Mando, we don't really have, and especially since some of the episodes are only, this episode 4 was 32 minutes, including
it was very short.
Credits.
It was a very short episode. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're having a lot of table setting with not a lot of time. So these last 4 episodes better be kick-ass and better be 52 minutes long. You know,
I think they're going to be kick-ass. I'm not entirely sure of the time, but I think they'll be kick-ass. I always remind people, like, you know, the first season of Mando was pretty much like this too. Like the first opening episodes, the first episode was cool. I didn't really love the second episode, but it wasn't bad with the Jawas and stuff. The third episode was awesome. You know, by halfway through the first season, Mando is he's aimlessly running away from bounty hunters in the galaxy, hiding on Shrimp Planet. You know, like it's fine, but it's just as aimless. Like his only goal is don't die, don't get captured. They're chasing us. You know, like there isn't really a story there outside of
But that one, But with season 1, he made the big. I think episode 3, he made the big decision to go save Grogu from the Empire and the
client?
Or was that
he did, and that was 3. That was episode 3.
And then ever since then, like he had. Like that, like sparked like big interest, and that like kind of gave him a mission.
Well, the mission was just to not die, though. It wasn't like season 2 was a lot more structured, where he was on a quest. Like, but you know, he's on a quest,
given it from the armor. Yeah.
At the end of season 1, so season 1 set up season 2. Season 2
so season
finished.
3
Exactly. It's exactly what I'm saying. Season 2 was so great because season 1 set up season 2. Season 2 finished that quest. It got reset. Now we're getting more set up in season 3 that will either set up the end of the season or set up into season 4. And like, I know we just came off a really good high of season 2 because season 2 was mostly great. Again, there were some dull episodes. I do not like the Ice Spiders episode. I just didn't like. I mean, it wasn't. I would even say it's probably my least favorite episode of the whole show. I just flat out don't like it.
That one and the Toro.
The Toro, yeah, the Toro, yeah. That was episode 5 of season 1. Those 2 episodes are easily my
Dave Filoni episode, by the way.
Yeah, and I didn't like it.
What was his name? Toro. It's bothering me now.
It's Toro something.
It's not popping up on Google autofill or.
You jerk.
I'm typing Toro Star Wars.
Mandalorian.
Toro Calican.
There you go, Toro Calican.
All right. I do want to chat about like episode 3 real quick again.
Sure, go ahead.
The New Republic. How do you feel about the New Republic using like recruiting ex-Empire?
It makes sense. My first connection was NASA Nazi scientists. That's
Operation Paperclip.
Yeah, that's what NASA did.
If nobody has ever heard that before, Google Operation Paperclip, and that's the U.S. essentially recruited Nazis for their technology, or trying to use their technology, and I think mostly for the Cold War, strategies and going into that.
Again, real world political implications.
Yep.
A lot of mirroring. But people that say that Star Wars isn't political, you were just too young to understand that it was political. It's 100% what's happening there, because it's always been political. It's always had a real world analog to go with it.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my first thought. My first thought was Nazi scientists in working for the U.S. government and NASA and whatnot. I am interested to see what's going on there. I did not expect his friend to go out on him like that.
She's
Ilya.
evil.
Way evil.
She's a double agent.
She's 100%. Tricksy. Absolutely. I love the Mon Calamari who is trying to.
It's a trap. And he's like, the side eye.
He's like, what? That's my line. Yeah.
And I feel like he also it looked like he looked at the camera a little, like kind of broke
a little bit.
Yeah. It gave that feel, because it kind of pauses when he does a little side eye. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that.
I loved in the when they were walking around on their little weird not date thing when she was showing him Coruscant. The Resistance suite from The Force Awakens was being played in the background, but it's sort of like a carnival version of it, which I picked up on that immediately. I was like, oh, that's the Resistance song. I like that. But then I'd never noticed that mountain before, but then someone posted like, this has been in the Clone Wars. Like this has been a thing. The monument section of Coruscant has been in a lot of Star Wars media, but they've just never drawn attention to it before. As someone, I just
apparently that's where like Obi-Wan and Satine meet at one point. In the show.
Yeah. So there's a lot of.
I wouldn't have known that unless I read that on Reddit.
Yeah, and it's just funny because like, oh, that's a mountain. And you're like, that's not a mountain, and you realize that is the mountain. Yeah. That's just. And my other question is how are they breathing?
I guess it's just the perfect planet.
Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we had a whole city and the top of Mount Everest was just kind of hanging out at ground level of the city? Like, it's really hard to. I don't know if you know this. It's really hard to breathe at the top of Mount Everest.
I wonder if it's just like, maybe if it's like Denver height in the city.
Well, there's also not a lot of vegetation on Coruscant. So how are they making the air anyway? Maybe they have plants that just produce air.
It's all got to be like.
Yeah,
all the food has probably to be imported.
I bet that whole planet smells like an air conditioned room.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
And you know they got the fanciest stuff on that planet. It's the planet for the rich people, the center of the galaxy. You know.
True. But go ahead.
I was gonna say like figures we need from these 2 episodes.
Oh, definitely Pershing and the Elia person who I can't remember.
Kelleran Beck.
Oh,
we're gonna talk about him.
Okay, I didn't know we were doing episode 4 yet, but you're absolutely right. That's the big thing. That was the big thing of both these episodes. Like, if you had told me we're gonna find out about who saved Grogu, I would have believed you. But if you'd asked me to list the top 5 Jedi, even the top 20 Jedi.
I mean, even the top 60. I went to Wikipedia before I expected the guy from the damn Jedi Temple games or whatever they call them, the Jedi Temple challenges or something.
The Jedi Temple challenge from the kids' YouTube page. Yeah, when they first announced and started doing that, I haven't watched it, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad this exists.
I watched the first episode just to see like him.
I'm glad that Ahmed Best is doing something in Star Wars. Getting that good energy in there, being a Jedi, and not having, Jar Jar be his only Star Wars legacy or whatever. But using his character to save Grogu, as soon as he popped up on there, I was like, all right, yes, I'm in. This is a brilliant idea. Absolutely, you go, girl.
Absolutely. And so I saw on Twitter. I thought I saw a spoiler because it said it was like an IGN article, and I try to avoid social media as much as I can, and especially with having my Instagram page, it's hard to avoid Star Wars stuff.
Yep.
So I'll try to, because if I got to post something on Instagram, or I try to post at least once a day to stay in the algo, and like post stuff on stories. But I saw on Twitter IGN put an article up saying the return of this character, but it was a picture of Jar Jar Binks. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm like, there's going to be the Grogu flashback is going to have Jar Jar. So whenever the elevator was about to open to him getting saved, I was expecting Jar Jar Binks to be the one that pulled him out. And I was like, oh, this is going to be neat. And like maybe like a Jedi gave him the order to go to the specific part and save him. And then it ended up being him. And it just made perfect sense. So I didn't end up being spoiled.
Well, you said one of the... I originally wanted my friend from Forlom Tzedakis, he runs that channel, whatever. I wanted him to be on this episode so we could talk about this because he posted something interesting. As apparently the original idea was that Jar Jar was going to be the one to save Luke and Leia, to rescue him, to rescue them, I guess, and to deliver them to wherever they were going. And that was changed when the fan backlash was against Jar Jar, and George Lucas reacted to that by reducing Jar Jar's role to almost nothing by Revenge of the Sith. He was
Literally,
there.
pretty much,
Yeah, he was there, but his only real contribution to Star Wars, other than being Anakin Skywalker's friend for a little bit,
is the worst thing.
The worst thing you could possibly do, and give Palpatine power in the Senate. And that's his only legacy now in Star Wars, where it could have been the guy that saved Luke and Leia. So this is a fun sort of mirroring course correction of that. Is it's not Jar Jar obviously, but it's the same actor. And now a lot of people are saying things like, "Oh, we're redeeming the actor." No, we're not redeeming the actor. We're redeeming the fandom. We as fans can now properly appreciate someone who was always a great actor and always a good person. And we can finally use this to give him the appreciation and love that he deserves. Absolutely.
Yeah, people don't realize how hard it is being not just an actor, but an actor that has to portray through a helmet or with prosthetics on. Because if you look at the behind the scenes stuff from Phantom Menace, his head is here, but Jar Jar's head is here.
Yeah. He's wearing a helmet.
He's wearing that big hat thing. For the guide for the CGI. So whenever he had to look, he had to make sure that the eyes up here are looking at.
Yeah, that's hard.
And a lot of people don't understand how hard, what's it called? Helmet acting is. And one of the best, if you want really good helmet acting, one of the best scenes ever almost is in The Force Awakens when Kylo Ren is talking to the Vader, the Vader helmet, because there's this, you can tell it's not in the script. Well, script is, but it's not directed for him to move his helmet this way. But the way he looks up and looks down and looks back up, and the camera's following his movements, but it's a fraction late, and it's just perfect helmet acting.
Yeah.
To try to grab the emotion. Then the camera's trying to follow him, and it's absolutely fantastic stuff.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I love the little chase scene of them trying to get away from the clone troopers. Love that they got to a little Naboo ship.
Was that the same tunnel that Anakin chased?
I don't know. I think all the tunnels look the same on Coruscant. There's no way of telling.
At first, I guess that one, the one in Attack of the Clones, was really big. It had multiple car lanes, right? And this one seemed like it was kind of close.
There's literally thousands of tunnels on Coruscant. There's no way of really telling.
Yeah,
but it was a very fun chase scene. It's very cool to finally see that. Now you want to know, where do they go from there? Where does I can't remember. Is it Kelleran? Is that his name?
Kelleran Beck.
Yeah, and apparently, because Ahmed Best plays someone with a very similar last name in Attack of the Clones. Apparently, those two characters are related, but I've also seen that they're the same character. One is an undercover Jedi doing some Jedi thing, and that was his assumed name, versus because they have very similar names or whatever, and they're obviously played by the same actor.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting theory. I don't think it's super important. Just one of those fun
tossed in there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I liked that his robes had some gold trim. It was almost like High Republic robes a little bit, where they were a little bit more ornate than a regular kind of traditional robe, which was
that picture that I'm actually going to post it on Instagram tomorrow and talk about mentioning who would want a Keller and Beck Black Series.
Yeah, I do. 100%.
That picture that Star Wars, their Star Wars social media put up of him, I guess today, is badass.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's absolutely, it's super sick.
Seeing him go at
those the green saber across his chest,
seeing him use two sabers against the clone troopers was awesome. It was great. The whole thing was great.
I love seeing live action clones, especially Final Earth clones, and the live action shock trooper.
Yeah,
looks so good.
And we're at the point where I look forward to whenever the armor makes armor for people, because as soon as she starts doing that, they always have a flashback. Din did it. I don't think Bo-Katan did it when she was making her new shoulder.
She started talking about the mythosaur.
The mythosaur, yeah, which is interesting. Obviously, do you think they're gonna do a new Bo-Katan with a new shoulder? Do you think that warrants a whole new figure?
Oh yeah, so here's my theory. We're gonna get another build-up pack.
Okay.
We're gonna get Bo-Katan with the new shoulder. And it's gonna come with Grogu with the chest piece. It's gonna have the cloth. His cloth is gonna have 2 green splats on it. It's gonna come with an alternate arm with the wrist rocket attachment.
Okay.
And some crabs. A crab or 2.
Those little crabs are cool.
And then, so yeah, it'll be Bo-Katan and some random accessories for.
All right.
That's my prediction. Bo-Katan build-up pack for her new look and Yoda's or Grogu's new little accessories there.
So it was a good episode and probably my favorite episode of the season so far. But can I talk about something that's been bugging me about it?
Shoot.
And this is true for the whole season. This specific group of Mandalorians are their own worst enemies.
Are you saying because they don't know how to pick a planet?
First of all, this is not an isolated incident. Like, this has happened before. Okay. Like, they mentioned that several times. Like, oh, we always get to about here, and then we just give up because our jetpacks run out of fuel. Like, no one's like, yeah, let's get it. They obviously have a method of they have a method of traveling across space. They got to that planet from a space station planet at some point in the last 3 years, or 2 years, or however long in between Book of Boba Fett and here happened. So it's not like they can't travel. But their first instinct is we have to chase this thing on our jetpacks, even though this is not the first time we've done that, and we always run out of fuel. Their first instinct is, let's go. But also, let's not use blasters because we don't want to hit the kid, which makes sense. But also, we're just gonna go back home. Like they spend the night below the nest.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not that worried that the kid's gonna get eaten? Like, why?
Yeah, like, why didn't the mama bird feed the kid to the baby?
Why did it take so long?
Right?
Yeah.
Why did it take like 2 days?
That kid was gone for at least 24 hours, at the very least.
Yeah,
from the moment that was taken to the next day. That kid, the whole time I'm thinking, that kid's already dead. That kid got eaten, or a claw through its chest or something, like, as soon as it got back to the nest. There's no way that didn't happen. But apparently he survived in the stomach just fine, which, fine. I can suspend disbelief. And I'm not saying this to say the whole thing is awful. I'm just saying, if you think about it, there are problems. And I'll take it one step further, that if people treated this and nitpicked it the way they nitpick all these little issues with the sequel trilogy, you could easily do that, because it's not a perfect story, because it's supposed to be just a fun fantasy story. All of Star Wars always has been that way. But really, come on. Yep, there's the nest, but you know what? We're going to have a camp out down here. No rush, guys. Like, we'll either save the kid or we won't, I guess. I don't know. But don't use guns. We're going to take a nap. It's just...
It seemed like very convenient that the bird didn't feed him right away.
Immediately. They just happened to get there right when the bird was going to feed them. Even though, Bo-Katan chased it to the nest and then flew back and they had a whole conversation. And that was after they flew however far, ran out of rocket fuel, and then presumably had to walk back to where they originally started. Like, that, how long of a walk was that?
I feel like the walk back had to take a day.
So far.
Unless they were picked up in a ship.
But did they have a ship? I did like that shot of Bo-Katan's ship chasing the bird into the sun. Like, I thought that was a really cool.
I guess they did have a ship. So Bo-Katan.
I guess she probably picked them up. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, but still, like, a whole day to even go out.
A whole day. They just were not in a hurry.
Yeah. That was wild. And
like, I get why. I get why, because
still on that planet.
Yeah,
They've been attacked by the turtle gator thing.
The turtle gator, which is what we're calling it. It's a turtle gator.
Like, and that's what it looked like to me.
It had a shell. It was an alligator. Yeah,
alligator.
It was definitely an episode of. It was like a Jurassic Park episode of The Mandalorian. Is what it was. It felt like
I was disappointed that after the big turtle gator ate the bird.
Yeah.
That Din, I was expecting Din to say there's always a bigger like monster.
There's always a bigger fish. Yeah.
Like a reference to there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
But like there's always a bigger monster or there's always a bigger threat. You know, whenever he was like hanging on the wall, saving the kid.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved it. Was harrowing. It was fun. Seeing Din, catch him. And then they had that little moment where, thanks for saving my son. He's like, this is the way. And everyone's kind of coming together, and I liked it. But if you think about it too hard, it sort of falls apart as a story. But I thought Carl Weathers did a great job at directing the episode. Like, he wasn't the one that wrote it. He just directed it, and he did great.
Yeah. Filoni wrote this one, didn't he?
I think he wrote part of it at the very least. And I think they could have fixed a lot of that. Like, could have short up the time or given a better reason why they didn't, like, we know that they don't feed them right away or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe Bo-Katan could have said, I scared it away from the nest with my ship, but it'll probably be back tomorrow or something, like, other than just like, hey, we don't use blasters if we don't want to shoot the kid, but also we're just going to leave the kid there overnight and hope everything's okay.
Yeah, that was certainly a wild decision, especially knowing that they mentioned that they've lost
other kids.
They've lost other kids.
And even in the nest, you see the helmet.
You see the helmet.
Yeah.
You see the little red helmet sitting there. Yeah. So it's like, why are you all taking so
And what would have happened if, in the course of getting that fight, if that kid's helmet got knocked off, or if Bo-Katan lost her helmet again, you're like, well, we gotta go back to Mandalore, like, we got to go back to the waters, like, I don't know. The whole thing it's interesting. It's fine. It was fun. I liked it. It's got problems.
Very true. Very true. Well, any final thoughts on that or the reveals you want to throw in here real quick?
Nah, man. I'm looking forward to where the season's going. I think we're going to start tying into Ahsoka and things like that. And I think they're going to set up some kind of quest for the next season. I think this season, just like season 1, is going to set up the next season.
Yeah, for sure. I'll close it by saying we did have a new listener of the podcast message me on Instagram and sent me a nice message saying, I drive a truck for work and there is such a backlog of old podcasts. It makes my day so much better while listening. Keep it up. So thanks, Gavin.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep, appreciate it. Appreciate you starting the podcast recently. He actually messaged me last week, and I got back to him today. He also said, loving the podcast, a new listener, longtime collector, and was convinced there wasn't a community. So glad I found you guys. We're always open to, that's why we made the podcast. It's to
always, absolutely,
chat with like-minded collectors and all that. People who are passionate about the line and just want to listen to two people chit chat and kill time talking about what we love, and that's the Black Series and collecting.
That's the Black Series. Yep.
Mike, you got any upcoming videos? Any videos you just dropped, and where can people follow you?
So I just dropped a Cal Kestis video actually, and obviously I've got my Jedi Luke Skywalker video that's popping off on my TikTok, which is Mike Case 82. If you want to go watch those, but it's the same. It's just my Luke Skywalker one on YouTube, but split up into a more TikTok friendly manner, but it's not different. Mm-hmm. So, in fact, it's a little more dumbed down because I had to cut some parts out, but yeah, anyway, it's there. I gotta work on a new video, but, I'm not going to be able to this weekend because Saturday I will be at WonderCon in Anaheim. Walking the floor, gonna hang out with Dan Larson in person. We've been friends for years, and we finally get to meet. And then Sunday I'll be at Disneyland. So I'm probably gonna post this maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. I don't know. Maybe I'll post it Saturday. but I'll try to get this up sooner rather than later because of that. But you can follow me, my pictures on Instagram at Trusty Sidekick, and then I'm also active on the Twitter for as long as Twitter's going to be around at Mike Case.
Yeah, so all of our social media is going to be taken away. Twitter.
Yeah.
TikTok. So just a reminder, our next episode, which will be episode 42, will be live Saturday night. Unless something happens, like, something unforeseen, we'll go
tornado, violent earthquake,
whatever. Yeah. We'll be live Sunday night, so we'll be live Saturday night. That's the plan.
April 8th.
April 8th. Time is to be determined. Maybe we'll get it done a little sooner since it's Saturday, like 7 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern is what I'd guess. Maybe later if Mike's busy, to be determined. So come and join us, talk about all the big reveals. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok with the same username at the Star Wars Black Series. Feel free to DM me. I talk with a pretty good amount of listeners of the show, and that's been great because before the podcast, I talked to like a couple people in the community, but not like consistently. But now I have people that I actually chat with consistently, and it's like really cool. They give me feedback on the podcast. Well, honestly, that's cap. They normally tell me great podcast, keep it up. But that's essentially feedback. Them saying great is feedback. But if you want to send us feedback or something, maybe like suggest a segment or send us a cool news article that we might.
Yeah, we've had people do that. That's definitely been a thing that we've done for sure.
Yeah, last episode we had that Jedi Temple Archives. Yeah, somebody emailed us at blackseriescantina@gmail.com. Follow us on Patreon. You can join us live at the 1138 tier a month. We have tiers below that if you want to support us as well, $5 and $2. That's just Black Series Cantina. We have merch if you want a mug or a shirt. I suggest you get a RIP Rancor shirt. Follow us on Twitter at TBS Cantina. And then join our Facebook group. That's where we post most of our like updates, and we have pretty good like chit chats on there. It's just Black Series Cantina. And I already mentioned our email, so that's all I got for this episode. We'll see you Saturday, April 8th, live to talk Star Wars Celebration Hasbro reveals.
It'll do it. It'll be fun, and we'll see you then. Bye.